Good morning. We'll call the meeting to order, and Pastor Betty Vestal with the Church of Acts is going to lead us in the invocation, and then Richard Gonzalez, Safety Coordinator and Risk Management, will lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. So, Pastor, welcome.
Good morning.
Thank you.
Let's bow our hearts and our body before the Lord. Father, thank you, Lord, as I sat in this seat and saw these men and ladies come forth to represent this city. My heart rejoices. I know, Father God, that you're pleased for people that are faithful, people, Father God, that are responsible. And we come before you asking for your wisdom, Father, as they make choices, as they make decisions. Let the mind of Christ be in them. Thank you for our mayor. Thank you for all of those that are here beside him. We ask you in the powerful name of Jesus to bestow your grace, your mercy, your truth. Thank you, Heavenly Father. We give you all honor. We give you all praise for who you are. In Jesus' powerful name. Amen.
Amen.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please join me in honoring the Texas flag. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
Well, thank you very much. We appreciate it. Ms. Huerta, would you call the roll, please?
Mayor Joe McComb.
Here.
Council members Roland Barrera.
Here.
Rudy Garza.
Here.
Paulette Guajardo. Gil Hernandez.
Here.
Michael Hunter.
Here.
Ben Molina.
Present.
Everett Roy.
Present.
Greg Smith.
Here.
City Manager Peter Zanoni. City Attorney Miles Risley.
Here.
Mayor and Council, a quorum of the Council and the required charter officers are present to conduct the meeting.
All right. We have 3 proclamations, so I'll come down and those council members that are going to help me know who you are. We've got the National Intern Day, National Farmers Market Week, and the 32nd reunion of the Mighty Mighty Hornets from Solomon Coles Alumni Association. So we'll be down here. The first one will be National Intern Day. So who's helping me with that?
Everett.
Everett. All right.
After you read, here now therefore there's a sheet attached.
You're here for the National Intern Day. If you're here, come on down. Oh my, look at here. Come on down. We'll let you pick door 1, 2, or 3.
Good morning.
Keep going all the way in, 2 rows.
Well, I had the privilege the other day to go over and speak to this group at Del Mar, and it's a great-looking bunch. And today we're going to recognize them, and I think if you don't know, you'll know by the end of the day that Everett Roy is going to help me with this proclamation, and he's got a lot of encouragement to support this program because his wife is at that end and she runs it. So, so this is a family affair, and I think it's a great one. So, Mr. Roy.
So I was telling the kids that after 30 years of marriage, that it's they say that you start looking like your wife. So it should be pretty easy for everyone to point out who my wife is. Anyway, July 25th, 2019 has been designated as National Intern Day by Way Up, supported by organizations across America dedicated to hosting, recognizing, and celebrating the future leaders of the world, interns. The Texas Higher Education Plan mandates by 2030 all graduates from Texas public institutions of higher education will have completed programs with identified marketable skills. The marketable skills goals emphasizes the value of higher education in the workforce. Students need to be aware of the marketable skills embedded in their academic programs. Institutions must make certain that students graduate with marketable skills. Citizens for Educational Excellence and Education to Employment Partners develop the Emerging Professionals Internship Program to provide talented high school students with real workforce training, marketable skills, experience, and guidance through professional development and a rigorous course of study. Local businesses in the Coastal Bend community invest in our future workforce by providing these students with paid internship positions and key experiences for in-demand professional careers.
Now therefore, pursuant to the powers vested in me as the mayor of the city of Corpus Christi, I do hereby proclaim July the 25th, 2019 Emerging Professionals Intern Day in Corpus Christi, and encourage all citizens to recognize the future leaders in the Emerging Professionals Internship Program. And we do want to commend you for that. And Ms. Roy, we want to commend you for your leadership in this. And I'll give you the proclamation and get you to say a few words.
Okay, awesome. Thank you. Thank you so much. Mayor McComb, City Council, city staff, and citizens of Corpus Christi. On behalf of Citizens for Educational Excellence and Education to Employment Partners, thank you so much for recognizing these students. I think I'm going to get emotional. They have given up a portion of their summer so that they could come and learn how to be a professional in the workplace. They're taking a business class, they're learning essential skills, and they come from schools across the region. We have Calallen, West Oso, Ray, Moody, Collegiate, and Branch, all represented in this group of 22 students. This is the future workforce. They are learning, and they are going to go to school in the morning of their senior year, and in the afternoon they're going to go to work. And they're going to be relevant interns, productive employees of these organizations. And we just know that this program is the beginning of greatness for our talent here in the Coastal Bend. And I think that we can be pretty sure that other cities are going to be trying to model programs after what we've done here. This first class of kids, trailblazers, risk takers, willing to step out of their comfort zone and go for it. And we could not be more proud. And I am so grateful and thankful to our partners at Del Mar College, certainly the school districts for giving us the opportunity to work with these kids, for Workforce Solutions, and most importantly, our employers. Without the host employers and the internship slots, there would be no internships. So we are grateful to these partnerships, grateful for your support, and so, so, so proud of these professional interns. Thank you.
Well, thank you. And the city, I believe, is participating in this program also. We got 3 departments, and I don't know whether some of the kids are up here. You've got your interns working. If you're at the Contracts and Procurement Department, anybody here from there? Or the Housing and Community Development Department? And Human Resources. Are any of y'all working in those, or are they all up there now working? But we've got some interns working here to help us, and that's really a great thing. So let's kind of gather back around and get a picture here with the City Council.
Okay. 3. Smile, open your eyes. Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much. How y'all doing? Study hard.
Good job. Good job.
You guys working?
Good luck. You're going to be great. Looking at this here, life's going to be
Looks like you got a bunch of cats.
Actually going to come down here.
Absolutely.
Good job, First Lady. Got all this time. I'm real bad.
Great to see you. Have a great one.
Hey, thank you. Appreciate it. So they're graduating pretty quick here from this class, or they're
Well, they'll finish up just before school starts
Oh.
and go to class. A couple weeks left. Thank you.
all right.
Hope we help you.
All right. Great bunch of kids. Young people, excuse me.
Thank you all for what you do.
All right, Ben. Councilman Molina is going to help me with this one. All right, well, now this one, all of us, whether you realize it or not, are involved in this industry, I think. How many of you eat? Everybody in here eat? All right, well, then you're involved in agriculture. It's just what phase of agriculture are you involved in, either producing or the consumption. But this is National Farmers Market Week, and good morning. And Ben Molina is going to help me with this one.
Thank you, Mayor. This is for National Farmers Market Week. The relationship between food farmers and food consumers is a valuable Southern tradition that positively impacts the health of citizens and the local economy. Farmers markets are important outlets for agricultural producers nationwide, providing them with increased opportunities to meet consumer demand for a variety of fresh, affordable, healthful, and locally sourced products. Farmers markets play a key role in developing local and regional food systems that support the sustainability of family farms, revitalize rural communities, and provide opportunities for farmers and consumers to interact. Grow Local South Texas, the Corpus Christi Downtown Farmers Market, the Corpus Christi Southside Farmers Market, and the Island Farmers Market work tirelessly to elevate the local food movement through their tireless efforts to maintain and grow our 3 area farmers markets. The U.S. Department of Agriculture recognizes the myriad benefits of farmers markets for producers and consumers and is fully committed to support the farmers market's continued success through grants, technical assistance, directories, and more.
Now, therefore, pursuant to the powers vested in me as the mayor of the city of Corpus Christi, I do hereby proclaim August 4th through 10th, 2019 as National Farmers Market Week in Corpus Christi, and encourage all citizens to attend one of the farmers markets. Downtown at 100 North Shoreline Boulevard, Southside at 5875 Everhart, and the Islands Farmers Market at 14030 Fortuna Bay Drive. So go get you some fresh veggies and enjoy good health, and we want to thank y'all for all you do. And you're going to be the spokesman. I'll hand you the proclamation.
Oh, sorry about that, sir. Here, you hold that for me. Thank you all so much. My name is Aislinn Campbell. I'm the Executive Director of Grow Local South Texas. First thing I want to say is a thank you to Ben Molina and his business. We actually gave out an award last night to some of our amazing business members of the organization that help make local food possible in this community, and we've been very thankful for what you did to help us out with that. In addition to that, one of the things that we always think is really funny is that National Farmers Market Week is in August. And I don't know if any of y'all have noticed, but it's pretty hot. And that means there's not much vegetables growing. However, we grow okra in Texas. So this coming up Wednesday, July 31st, we actually will be hosting Okra Extravaganza. I dropped off some bags so that our council members will come shopping, and some okra recipes, and then some information about when produce is available. Produce is mostly available in Corpus Christi starting in November all the way around till May, June. Then it kind of starts to drop off, but we still have lots of good stuff. Okra right now, and we would love for you guys to come out and join us July 31st. And then on August the 7th, when an actual Farmers Market Week, we will be having veggie vouchers for children. If you want to know more about that, come and check us out on our website. Thank you so much for having us here. Appreciate you guys helping us out. Thank you.
Thanks. We appreciate it. And that fried okra is good as popcorn, I'll tell you. I've tried that. Okay, well, let's get a picture, and then we'll get a...
Well timed.
Okay. 1, 2, 3. Okay, good. Thank you.
Let's say hello to the consumers back there.
You're doing this one on your own.
All right.
Good to see you guys.
Thanks, appreciate it. The deer got into my own comes in there.
Thank you, sir. Thank you all for what you do.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
You're good. Hey, you're great. Good to see you. Hi, how are you? Good to see you this morning. Okay, all right. Thank you. Hi, how are you? Great to see you. How are you, young lady? Oh, good. How are you doing?
All right, the next one. If you're associated with this one, well, come on up. It's the 32nd reunion, the Mighty Mighty Hornets from Solomon Melvin Coles Alumni Association Days. Come on up.
I was too late.
Oh, come on over. Line up over here. How are you this morning?
Just fine, thank you.
Good to see you. I feel sorry for you. You're outnumbered. Story of your life, huh? Yeah, mine too. I understand. All right. The Solomon M. Coles Alumni Association is made up of people who attended Solomon Melvin Coles High School and are attempting to carry on the goals of the principal, Mr. Solomon Melvin Coles. Former students who have become doctors, lawyers, ministers, sculptors, business professionals, and people from all walks of life come from all over the country to celebrate having attended Solomon M. Coles High School. The Solomon M. Coles Alumni Association was organized in 1974 with the commencement of its first reunion. The purpose of the organization is to bring all former class schoolmates together to work in the community development to establish scholarship funds for young people and to keep the name of Solomon M. Coles alive. Well, I think you're doing a good job. Alumni from the first graduating class in 1934 through the last graduating class of 2019 will be in attendance this year. Solomon M. Coles scholarships have been awarded each year since 1974 to deserving graduating seniors. Former recipients have gone on to become teachers, business professionals, and paraprofessionals following the Solomon M. Coles alumni motto, working together for the benefit of all. Now, therefore, pursuant to the powers vested in me as the mayor of the city of Corpus Christi, I do hereby proclaim August the 8th through the 10th, 2019 as its 32nd reunion, Mighty Mighty Hornets, Solomon Melvin Coles Alumni Association in Corpus Christi. Encourage all citizens to applaud the Solomon Melvin Coles Alumni Association for its dedication to keeping the name of Solomon M. Coles alive, for the continuing with his dream of higher education for all. So congratulations, and who's going to be the spokesman? You going to be the spokesman? All right, and I'll let you make a few comments here.
Okay.
Thank you.
Oh, go ahead. Go ahead. Yes, ma'am. I'm just going to say something. First of all, I'd like to say thank you on behalf of the Solomon M. Coles Alumni Association Committee who are here today. I was in the last graduating class in 1967 when it closed as a junior-senior high school. Even though the curriculum has changed, the name remains the same. Thank you.
Thank you. Oh, and I'd just like to thank the City Council and the Mayor and Mayor McComb and for recognizing all these ladies. Dr. Scott and all these ladies are true angels to Coles, and so thank you to them for everything that they do for the alumni and the students there. Thank you.
All right. Well, thank you for what you do. Let's give them a hand for their work, and then we'll get a picture of all up here.
Congratulations, y'all.
One observation: we got the mighty Hornets down here on Coles, and we got the Flower Bluff Hornets out in Flower Bluff. So we're gonna have to get the Flower Bluff Hornets to get a little more mightier.
We'll do that.
All right.
That's a promise.
Yeah. So we got the city covered with Hornets from Flower Bluff to North Side.
It's good to see you.
Good luck. What you got?
Dr. Scott.
Yeah.
Good. Thanks for reminding me. Yes, sir.
Pretty good timing, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, well, the next item on our agenda is city manager comments, but I'm not sure we got enough time to give him before we go to public comment. Is there anybody, have we got a public comment list? We got one. You got, okay. Let's go to public comment. Mr. Risley and Ms. Wirth, if you'll go over the rules, please, ma'am, and please, sir.
Citizens are authorized and encouraged to present their views to the council on agenda action items or during the petitions part on non-agenda city-related matters. However, such should be done in a factual, precise presentation, and questions of council or staff are inappropriate. Loud, boisterous, profane, or obscene language or behavior is not allowed.
Good afternoon. I'm City Secretary Rebecca Huerta, and I'll be conducting the public comment period today. I'd like to remind everyone that a recording is made of the meeting. Please speak into the microphone located at the podium and state your name and address. If you choose to speak during this public comment period regarding an item on the agenda, you may do so. You will not be allowed to speak again, however, when the council is considering the item. Citizen comments are limited to 3 minutes. On the podium, you'll see a timer underneath the base of the microphone. It will let you know exactly how much time you have left to speak. Once your time is up, a buzzer will go off, and then you can conclude your comments. If you have a petition or any information pertaining to your subject, please present it to the City Secretary. And with that, we'll begin. The first person on the list is John LaRue.
Good day. Don't know if it's morning or afternoon yet.
Good
but
morning.
It's pretty close. I'll say good day. John LaRue with the United Chamber of Commerce, and our address is right across the street in the RTA building. I don't know the number, but it's something on Staples. I just wanted to raise some public awareness about TWIA and a proposed rate increase, possible rate increase. TWIA stands for Texas Windstorm Insurance Association, and they have a meeting of that group next Tuesday in Galveston, where they're going to consider a rate increase along the Texas coast. We had a press conference yesterday where we had our legislative delegation. Councilman Smith and Molina were there and represented you all very well at that hearing, at that press conference. And the Chamber's leading a delegation that will be going there to oppose that increase. As you all know, we still have communities, individuals, and businesses in this region that are recovering from Hurricane Harvey, which is coming up in, I guess, about a month on its second anniversary, and people are still suffering. So to even consider a rate increase, which I call a tax, it really is a tax at this time, we think is entirely inappropriate. I know the council's been very supportive of those efforts from the Chamber and the region in the past, and I know you will be this time, but people can go on the TWIA website, twiia.org, and register, and all they have to do is say no to any proposed increase. They don't have to make a long speech about it, but that's really what I wanted to do. And again, I want to thank the council, the mayor, city staff for all they've done in the past, and we look forward to trying to make sure this thing doesn't happen next week. Thank you.
Well, thank you.
Sir Frederick Vaughn, USA King VII.
Sir Frederick Vaughn, USA King VII. That's SARFREDICKVON, USA King, KING, VII the 7th. I want to thank the council and the city staff, and I want to welcome the new council members. It's my first time seeing you face to face, and I just want to let you know that I've been around a while. I've been here since '77 as a candidate, I'm saying. I started with the Boy Scouts in '77, '80. I was 18. So the oldest candidate, serving member here is Mr. McComb, the mayor. I've been around just about as long as you have, sir, but I just haven't won. I've just been a candidate. So I'm speaking to the candidates and the council, not candidates, but the council and the staff and the public, because the TV is here and we will be broadcast later on or live, whatever it is to say. I've completed my income tax, so therefore, as being a candidate, and the last time I was campaigning, I did have to turn in an income tax. So I had my 2018 income tax done, and I'm ready to turn it over to the city secretary so that she can give it to council members and whoever else may be in need of these documents. And I think that's just about it. Like I said, I wanted to thank you for letting me speak to you and meet the new candidates and our new city manager. And I believe it's about budget time too. I'm going to need a budget. I have not been present at the council meetings lately because of my tax situation. I just finished all this paperwork. This is a lengthy package. So that's what I want to let you know. And as they say, I'm back. Maybe I'll win coming up. I don't know what's going to happen. I'm in District 2. I've run at large. I run for Delmar Board. Only thing left is CCSU.
All right.
Or A&M Corpus Christi.
Thank you very much.
Susie Saldana.
Susie Luna Saldana, 4710 Hackle. I take this opportunity to do three things. One, to thank Councilman Guajardo for her interest on behalf of the people of Churchill and everything that she's done. I want to be able to thank her for what she's doing. I also want to take an opportunity to thank our city manager for his budget and thinking about our police officers. I want more, but it's a start. It is a start to be able to add to our police force, and I want you to take a look at, consider that. Like I said, I want more, but a start is a start. And I want to thank you for it. I also want to thank the opportunity to thank the police officers on behalf of CCAUS, United Teachers and School Employees, for their contributions to helping our start of our school with Operation Safe Return, because you don't know how much money you save for the teachers, because the teachers put out of their pockets what is needed and the kids that don't take those supplies. So on behalf of CCAUS, Chief Marco, thank you and your people for that beautiful operation and that help to our children. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, those are all the individuals who signed up on the list. As a courtesy now, if there's anyone who did not have an opportunity to sign up and would like to speak, if you would indicate that now, you'll have an opportunity to speak. So is there anyone who didn't sign up who would like to speak? Okay, seeing none, at this time I'm going to close the public comment period.
All right, then on item F, the city manager's report. Mr. Zanoni.
Mayor, I don't have a report today because I'll be presenting the budget at some point, so I thought I'd save that time for the budget presentation.
All right. Then let's go to the minutes. We got a copy of the minutes from the July 16th meeting. Entertain a motion for approval.
So move. Mayor, if I can have a discussion on the minutes.
Okay.
On item number 18. It was not clear as to which item was passed. I apologize. I just got lost on this.
I'm sorry, your amendment, sir? What?
Yeah, hold on a second. Let me get to it.
Oh, okay.
No, I take it back. Sorry, I lost it on the minutes, but it was the item where we were discussing the plan, the area development mobility plan for transportation plan. It was item number 18.
Correct.
And discussion of which actual plan was actually approved, and I didn't specify that it was the staff recommendation along with the Transportation Advisory Committee recommendation that was finally approved. I was wondering if we could make an amendment to approve the ordinance as recommended by staff and TAC. No, there was a portion where the Planning Commission had a separate recommendation, and so I want to be specific that we're actually stating that we approve the ordinance, because the way it states right here, it says Councilmember made a motion to approve the ordinance, second by Councilman Roy. The ordinance was passed on the first reading with the following vote. However, it doesn't specifically say the difference between the staff and TAC recommendation versus the Planning Commission recommendation. So if we can add that to the approval of the ordinance that was recommended by staff and TAC. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I mean that's what we did. I mean, if it's not clear to everybody, that's what we did.
Yes, That is, yeah, I'll make a motion to amend the, item number 18 in the minutes to reflect the recommendation of staff and TAC as the approval in the ordinance, not the Planning Commission recommendation.
Okay.
All right, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Okay, I'll entertain a motion to approve the minutes as amended.
So moved. Second.
A motion and second, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Okay. We don't have any board and committee appointments. We're going to do the charter later.
Just the charter one, Mayor, whenever
wanna
you're
do
ready
that
to
one?
do that.
All right. We do have then an appointment of a, there's been some discussion, if you'll recall, quite a bit of discussion about a need to review some items in our charter. And the council wants to establish kind of an ad hoc committee. We're hoping to get this done a little sooner, but the lady that was going to chair the committee had a accident during the Memorial Day weekend, broke her leg, and has been kind of recovering, but I think she's up and about now. And so we've reached the point where we want to make the appointment. And this committee, it's an ad hoc, it's a special purpose committee. It's to look over the charter to see what housekeeping needs to be done, or anything else that we might see needs to make some adjustments so that we can make our city continue to grow and prosper. And the committee is made up of each council member gets to make an appointment, and the mayor or submits the name, nominates them, and it's the mayor's appointment. So what I'd like to do is appoint the following people to the committee to serve on the Charter Review Commission. And these people have been nominated, and I'll identify who the council member is that I nominated them so that each council member will have, so we'll know who the council member was and everybody has their thing. I've asked Toby Futrell to serve as chairman. Council member Roland Barrera is nominating Eugene Hernandez. Councilman Gil Hernandez is nominating Chad McGill. Councilmember Everett Roy is nominating Oscar Martinez. Councilmember Michael Hunter is nominating Richard Rick Milby. Councilmember Ben Molina is nominating Philip Ramirez. Councilmember Greg Smith is nominating Shirley Thornton. Councilmember Paulette Wahardo is nominating Bob White. And Councilmember Rudy Garza is nominating John F. Wilson. Did I get all of your appointments right? I want to make sure everybody gets, okay. So I'll entertain a motion that the Charter Review Committee be appointed with these members, with Toby Futrell being the chair. Is there a motion?
So moved.
And there's a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All right. Well, what this then will trigger is that the chairman will begin to put together a plan and probably call a meeting relatively quickly just to introduce everybody to the committee and about what their goals and objectives are on the thing. And I've asked Mr. Risley to either he or someone in his office to kind of be the point person to keep us legal and out of trouble through this whole process. And so I don't know whether you've made that determination or not, whether it be you or someone else, and that we'll ask the public, that there'll be opportunities for the public to have input through this process. The city manager come in with a new set of eyes to look at the charter to see what in there, just from a managerial standpoint, might need to be tweaked or changed or added or deleted to make the workings of the city government better. And then we'll have a report when they conclude their work. And so we want to thank all of these folks for their willingness to serve. For the record, there's no compensation. They may get a donut and a cup of coffee when they go to a meeting, depending on when they have the meeting. But anyway, we're looking forward to their report. And so we've gotten that done. It would have been done earlier had it not been for the accident that Ms. Futrell had, and apologize for the delay on that. So we've taken a vote and that's passed, right?
Yes, sir.
All right. So then we'll And I don't know, let's see, Chad is here. I don't know whether any other members. Rick Milby is here.
Pastor Milby.
Thank you guys for your willingness to serve. Sometimes I scratch my head when you want to serve on committees like this, why you want to do it. But it's, it's a lot of work, but it's for the betterment of the community, so we thank you for that. All right, we'll go over then to consent agendas. Item 3 through 17 are consent agenda. Anyone on the council have an item they want to pull for more information on 3 through 17?
Mayor, I have a question about, I'd like to pull agenda item number 8.
Agenda item number 8. Okay. Anyone else?
9.
9. Okay, anyone else?
16.
Okay. Anyone else? Anyone from the, nobody else from the council, anybody from the public have an agenda item they want to pull to have more discussion on? Seeing none, then I'll entertain a motion for the passage of consent agenda items 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, and 17.
I make a motion.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Okay, go back to number 8, and I didn't mark down who said that. Who said number 8?
I did.
Okay, go ahead.
Here, I just wanted to ask, I just wanted to ensure that all these firms, is there a requirement from the city that any firm that we engage with in these type of contracts, that they have a licensed professional engineer, a locally licensed professional engineer on staff?
Yes, that is a requirement, and if they're not in compliance with that requirement, we're not going to be issuing task orders to them.
Okay. So at what time do we, I guess when we initiate the task order is the time that we're going to verify that, or do we?
That's correct.
Okay. So I guess, explain to me then how it would work. I mean, we're going to sign a contract with them, and that contract, is it going to indicate that? Or
This is a master services agreement, and tasking is assigned as projects are rolled out. And if they're not able to deliver, then we're not going to be issuing contracts. They've got to have resources here available and be responsive to our needs.
And so, have we verified that for all three firms at this time, or we're going to verify it when the task is?
I think all 3 firms do have local staff. There is one firm that they do have a degreed engineer in town. I don't think he's a PE, but they have made a commitment to us that they're going to be positioning a PE here in town to service this work.
All right, well, keep an eye on it. Obviously, somebody made me aware of it, and so they're going to keep tickling me, and I'll have to tickle you. So.
Please do.
All right, well, thank you very much.
Okay, you have a motion for approval 8?
So moved.
All in favor? Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed?
No.
You said no?
Oh, you want
Okay. Can we do a
vote no
roll
on
call?
8? Okay.
So for the record, all aye except for Mr. Garza. Got it.
All right, number 9, who pulled that one?
I did.
Okay.
I see is that we're looking, and the question is, we approved a recommended rate model a couple of years ago, maybe last year, and we had all kinds of grief that we endured because some people saw some huge increases in their water rates, and some people didn't even notice the reduction in the I guess the decreases they saw. And so at the end of the day, I don't feel comfortable that using the same rate model analysis methodology is going to benefit us. Are there other options for being able to go out and do rate model analysis? Are there other software programs? Are there some other cities that are using a different methodology for making recommendations related to their water rate or any other utility rate increases?
or decreases?
Mark Van Vleck, Assistant City Manager. The model actually is multiple spreadsheets, and basically you can tell them what you want to do, and part of what this does is program in order to essentially do however you want the structures to occur. So part of this would be to update it and make it easier to do. And I think you're talking about the winter or the wastewater rates, correct?
Yeah, we abandoned the winter averaging, and then
the model actually is set up to be able to go back to the previous methodology or any other methodology you may want to use. But that's part of what this does, is have the person who has essentially done the spreadsheets to be able to go in and do that modeling for the different scenarios, and to simplify being able to do what if scenarios, which right now it's very difficult to do.
I guess the concern that I have is that we seem to be doing it still I guess somebody's actually generating a program that's giving you this, so to speak, if and or buts, basically if you want this, then these are the results.
Correct.
Are there other programs out there that are more, I'm going to say, conventional or standard, or offer this type of analysis?
There's really nothing commercial off the shelf that does this. It's generally tailored to the community.
To each municipality?
Pretty much, yes, sir. I looked at this a few years ago, and the people who looked at it told me ours is probably the most robust of any of them that they've seen on being able to run different scenarios.
Okay, well, let's keep looking. All right, but all right, I'll support it if that's all we got.
Yes, sir.
Any other comments? As a piggyback on this, this really is to go in and get the rate model and structures really for next year's budget, because the contract's for a year, so it won't be applicable to this year's budget. But earlier in this year, I think the council, with all of the issues we've had with our utility billing, had requested that there be some review and some plan to come back for this year's budget for the winter averaging reinstitution and the separating out of the stormwater versus all of that in the utility. And I think in visiting with you the other day, that presentation will be made to us during the budget process on the 15th, or the budget workshop.
During the workshop, yes, sir.
The committee
on the 15th.
Okay, so the committee's been working. We just haven't heard from you, but by the 15th, we'll hear from you.
Yes, sir.
Good. Okay. Motion for passage item 9.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor? Any other discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All right. Item number 16. Gil, is that you? Okay.
Good afternoon, Alma Casas, Intern Director of Finance. Can I help you?
Well, in looking how this is worded, it doesn't really give the indication that this is a tax increase of 2 cents.
The 2 cents.
Right, in the agenda item. So I think we need to be a little bit more specific when we're listing this out as an agenda item. Instead of saying approve the 64 cents, we need to say this is an increase of 2 cents, making it 64 cents overall. I think that needs to be a little bit more transparent in how we present that to the community. Now, this is associated with residential streets as part of the 2+2+2 program to increase taxes for 6 cents. So I want to make sure that this was something that had been discussed and approved in the past. Am I correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And in this, I had asked for a list of projects because I don't like passing increases without knowing what it's going to be spent on. Yes. And we got a list at 3 p.m. yesterday in a memo. Now, I didn't get a great chance to review all the streets specifically, and I only looked at my district, and I encourage our other city council members to look at their list to make sure it's a good list. I had some issues with that particular a few items that I discussed with our streets department, as well as our assistant city manager, Mark Van Vleck. And I encourage our other city council members to do the same, to make sure you have good, adequate I mean, understanding of which projects, which streets are going to be done, and if it's the ones that you'd like to do in your district respectively and at large as well. I hesitate to raise taxes, but since this was approved previously, but I just want to make sure that we're very transparent and that this is a vote to increase taxes by 2 cents.
Yes, sir. Councilmember Hernandez.
Yes.
So this is the first step in our truth in taxation process for setting the tax rate. So the motion before you is actually just setting the date, September the 17th, to approve the tax rate.
I understand, but we're getting the ball rolling here, right?
Yes, sir. And so we're going to have 2 public hearings, at which time the mayor's going to announce the specific rate of 6264, and it will say it's an increase of from our effective tax rate once we get the effective tax rate. So this is just setting the date, and we will have many opportunities for the public to make comment on those.
Now, considering we have new legislation that limits our increase, so to speak, that would have to go to the voters for that, what is this looking like in terms of that?
So that the new legislation takes effect for our next fiscal year, fiscal year
Right.
20. So at this point, we don't anticipate exceeding the rollback rate, but we are anticipating exceeding the effective tax rate. That's why we are setting the 2 public hearings today.
Okay, so like I said, I just want to be clarified as to what this actually is and what we're doing here.
Yes, sir.
Thank
In future agenda items, we will definitely have all of that outlined in the agenda memos.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, sir. Sure.
Good.
No, I'm good. She answered the question, what I was going to answer.
All right, and I think in the budget presentation that the city manager is going to give today, the great news is that the budget being presented today, at least from my interpretation, and he'll straighten me out if I'm wrong, please do, and I may be, but is that the budget presentation that he's going to present is based on our current tax rate and management decisions and prioritizations within the budget and the new assessed values and all that sort of stuff. So we're accomplishing everything that he's recommending within the existing tax rate to do what we're doing in his budget. And then there is the additional 2 cents being added on that was voter approved in 2017 approved in 16. We didn't do it in 17 because of Harvey. We implemented the first 2 cents last year, and this is the second round on voter approval. So the only reason that the tax rate is changing is voter approved in advance to implement that 2 cents. So I want to take my hat off to the manager for the decision-making they've had through savings, reprioritization, and moving. So that would be good. Just as piggybacking, I do have some concern on one of the things Mr. Hernandez said, is that the council has adopted a matrix for street repairs or something, and we did get the memo yesterday. I think it would be extremely dangerous and invasive on the part of the council to go in and start cherry picking which street in their district they wanted. If we've established a formula for the staff to do based on technical requirements and all of this sort of stuff, there's more streets than we're ever going to get done, and at some point somebody's got to be first, and that's based on staff and the recommendation and the formulas in order to be fair and meet the greatest need as quick as we can. So I would not at all support staff going in and trying to cherry pick just because they want one street over another in their district to be moved up in the first year versus another, because that we've adopted a formula for the council and for the staff to work on, and that's what they're doing. And the way we get more streets done is finding more money. And that's what we're trying to do with this 2 additional cents. So, okay, there's a motion on item 16. All in favor say aye.
No, that's it.
Huh?
Is there a motion? Okay, thank you.
I thought you made a motion. All right, the motion and second. All in favor say aye. Aye. All right, item 16 passes.
Thank you.
Oh my goodness, we're ahead of the lunch schedule even here on the agenda. What are we doing? Well, let's do this. I think since we mentioned the budget. Peter, you want to do that now? Take advantage of the additional time we have?
Mayor.
Excuse me.
Would you mind terribly if...
Oh, yeah, one more break. I think, yes. Let's, if we could, move to item, 23. We do have I'd like to move over to item 23. It's the first reading, and it's awarding a contract to Haas Anderson Construction Ltd. in the amount of $11,016,599.50. Now, I mean, that's getting it down to the lick log right there, 50 cents. For the construction of Ayers Street pedestrian improvements and turn lane additions from South Padre Island Drive to Galahar for the base bid, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. One, this is a much-needed project, and two, Priscilla Leal was a council member at that, on the council at the time and was a champion for this project, and so she's here today, and I just thought that'd be wonderful for her to be able to come down. And Roland, thank you for contacting her and making her aware of this, so that she played a vital role in getting this in the bond program and getting it done. And we're just glad you're here. Would you like to make don't talk us out of it, but we're about to spend some money fixing up Ayers Street. Yes, ma'am.
Since she lost her voice on occasion, she'll ask me to be her voice.
Okay.
If you don't mind, I'll just read what the family would like to say.
All right, fine. Pull the microphone down so the public can also hear. Are both mics on?
Yeah. There you go. Okay, I'm just going to read what they wrote. It says, Mayor, City Council, and City Manager. This is Priscilla Lau. She was in the City Council.
Can you hold up just 1 second? I'm also, Mayor, come down with you. You were the mayor at the time, right?
Yes.
Come on down. Mayor Nelda Martinez was the leader of the pack. So come on down, because this is a big project for our city, and Ms. Leal was a champion for it. So come down and you join us here. Yes? Okay, now I'm sorry for interrupting you.
Thank you. Thanks for inviting Nelda up here, too. And I'll continue where I was. Priscilla Leon, she was in the City Council District 3 from 2007 to 2014, at which time she had a major stroke, where she lost her voice, and now she has to depend on friends to speak for her. Thank you, Priscilla, for asking me to be your voice. Priscilla, at her farewell meeting, had 3 projects that were left. When she left due to the stroke and term limitations, she left her good friend Lucy Rubio, now Judge Rubio, at her position. She asked Rubio to please keep an eye on 3 projects that had passed on the bond election but were not completed. One was the Fire Station 18, which is now running, Ayers Street, that way. Okay, Ayers Street, and Holly Road project not yet completed. They were all 2012 bond elect. Priscilla spent many hours on Ayers Street project. First, she would like to thank Diana Sepulveda for her help, Roland Barrera for inviting her to be here today, for all her family, husbands, and friends, and especially Mayor Martinez, for always being their friends and supporting her and helping her pass this projects that she had behind her. This year, if not for the stroke, she would still be serving her city and citizens of Corpus Christi. Thank you all. God bless you. God bless Corpus Christi. And she wanted to make sure that we recognize Mayor Nelda, which you have. Thank you. Thank you.
All right. Well, thank you very much. It's good to see you.
Oh, she's saying thank you to you, Roland.
Thank you. Thank you.
Well, thank you. And you're looking good.
Yes, you do.
Oh.
Oh, I didn't bring my camera.
All right.
Do I need to turn this off?
All right.
I think.
All right, Roland, now that you're all hugged up, if you'll come back and make a motion to pass this, we'll get it done.
Well, if there is no questions on the item, First off, I want to thank you. I had the pleasure of being an opponent of Ms. Leal, Councilmember Leal, on 2 separate occasions, you know, I can say now, as a result of the project, as a result of this project, that it was probably for the better. Obviously, Councilmember Leal was always relentless, passionate, and also a formidable opponent. I gained so much respect for her during that time, because I've always said, in situations like that no one will outwork me. Well, in this case, I was proven wrong. So I want to once again give her all the accolades she deserves. And with that, I move that we approve the project.
Second. Any other discussion? Any other comment from the public? All in favor of item number 23, the Ayers Street improvements, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? All right. Be ready for some construction. All right. Now, we'll go back. Mr. Zanoni, I think this is really important. We're going to move the briefing and the introduction, and this is just a briefing. There's not going to be a whole lot of discussion or no action taken, but I think for the public, and since we've got a good number of folks here and probably some folks that might be viewing, this is a major thing for us. It's the manager's first budget as the city manager for us, and fortunately, with the economy improving to some extent in South Texas, we're able to, looks like, make some pretty good sized steps forward, both as a result of revenue and some rearrangement of priorities. So with that, yes. Mr. Manager.
Okay, good. Thank you, Mayor.
Earn your money.
Yes, sir. Thank you. We're going to show you here in a minute. Great. Well, thank you, Mayor and Council, and members of the public. Today's presentation to you is, as you said, Mayor, the beginning of a 6-week process to get to an ultimate adopted budget by the City Council. I'm going to present to you the fiscal year 2020 budget, and we have several things that will take place after today's presentation, including 4 work sessions for the Council, where some of the key departments will present to you their budgets and some of the improvements in an in-depth way. We also have 5 community hearings on the budget, so we'll be going to each of the City Council districts and spending about an hour with the community on the budget and getting their feedback, and the Council can use that in the ultimate adoption of a budget. We'll also have 3 public hearings in the City Council chamber, 2 on the tax rate, and 1 on the budget here in the chambers. And then ultimately, City Council's duty and role in our form of government is to adopt a budget, and the date is set for that to be September 17th. So with that, let me kind of go through the budget with you. You'll have a budget document that the Budget Office has provided or will be providing. That document will also be online after today's presentation and available to the public. We want our budget to be transparent and open to the community. The good thing, unlike the federal government, is our budget is balanced. So the revenues that we're bringing in is what we're going to spend. We will have a balanced budget. We do have one today, and that's what I'm presenting. The budget addresses Council's priorities and the needs of the community that we have heard and that I have heard. It focuses on our basics, including public safety, streets, our park system, maintenance in all those areas, and as well some strategic planning to help advance forward some of our major assets, to include some of our corridors and some of our park systems. And then the budget is consistent with the council-approved financial policies that we just approved last week. And so the financial amounts and the reserves and that type of thing is consistent with the council-approved policies. In summary here, and I'll go through the detail, but the budget increases funding for street maintenance. It's the highest level, I think I'm safe in saying this, that the city has ever seen for street maintenance and reconstruction. It has long-term sustainable plans for increasing our public safety personnel, our sworn personnel. It increases mowing and maintenance in parks and increases our maintenance and safety on our beaches. And it saves dollars by redirecting resources from contract work, bringing some of that work in-house. As you'll see, it saves us a total of $4.8 million in this first fiscal year. Now, we want the budget to be transparent, as I said, and it's going to be available to the public shortly here this afternoon online. But we will be going out to the community. You can see here the list of those community hearings in the districts. They're primarily at our libraries or at our senior centers, and they've been coordinated with the council member who will be the host of each one of those events. In summary, our total budget, this is all funds, including the capital budget, is $1.1 billion. And I think this will be the first year we've reached that billion dollar mark. That budget includes several of the component budgets you can see, like the general fund. It includes our enterprise funds and our special revenue funds, the debt service fund as well, and the capital budget as well. That's $327 million. The budget for the current year, just to put it into context, is $983 million. So we're going from close to $1 billion to a $1.1 billion budget. When we look at the most known or the most talked about, which is our general fund budget, there's a 7% increase in the budget year over year. From the current year of $253 million, the proposed is $270 million. This is a neat graphic. You'd probably want to study it a little bit after the presentation, but it has two elements. The revenues of the city are in that black circle that encompasses the middle slices. The revenues of the city are in the black outlined circles, and then the expenditures are in the internal slices of the pie. You can see public safety, which is our most essential and most important basic city service, consumes 54% of the budget, rightly so. But you can see it's an expensive service delivery item to the community. It takes all of our property tax revenue and just about all of the sales tax to provide that basic city service. And then you can see some of the other major city services like solid waste, streets, the transfer to streets, and then our parks and recreation. The improvements in the budget and the reason we're able to move forward as we will in this recommended budget primarily, and it's not exclusively, but primarily is because of growth in our revenues, as this chart shows us. We have growth in each of the major revenue categories to include property tax, and that's in part because of the rate increase, and I'll talk to you about that. Our sales tax revenue is doing pretty good. This is a comparison of the amount year over year, so 2019 to 2020. 7.4% more in property tax and 5.5% more in sales tax. If we just focus on the property tax and values for a moment, we have a little bit better growth in our property values this year over the past budget year. So combined growth with base value increases and new development is a 4% growth. That's according to our appraisal district. And you can see that's up from the 3.4% growth that we experienced last year at this time. And as the mayor mentioned, I'm recommending in this budget the 2-cent property tax rate increase that the voters already asked for and approved at the polls. So our tax rate for property tax will go from 62 cents for every $100 of valuation to 64 cents, consistent with the prior approved commitment from the voter and the resident. Just to put property tax into context a little bit, we hear a lot of negativity about property tax, but the city's portion of the property tax payment that we make each year is less than 25%, less than a quarter of the budget. It's about 24% to be exact. As we know, the majority of our taxes go to pay for important school services and through our school districts. And then when you combine the county with the Del Mar College, that consumes the other quarter of the tax bill. We do provide relief, though. The City Council has been aggressive in providing targeted relief to our senior population. And in this budget, we'll forego $13 million in property tax revenue because of our senior exemption. Once you reach 65, there's an exemption amount taken off the value of your home. And also the city approved the tax freeze. So once a senior reaches 65, that is the final increment in their property tax payment. That rate that they pay or that amount that they pay the city is frozen for the rest of their life in that home. Let's talk a little bit about the improvements. There's $17 million in the general fund for new improvements. These are enhancements in our basic city services, as this table shows. We have improvements in police and fire, of about $7-8 million. Parks and Recreation is some improvements. A big transfer to the Streets Fund for more residential streets. And we have other departments with some enhancements as well. All these are made, as we mentioned earlier, within our existing rates, our tax rates, with the exception of that 2-cent increase and the property tax rate that has been approved by the voters. So there's no other tax increases to accomplish what I'm going to recommend in detail. And excuse me. And it's important to point out that with these improvements to our services that the community has asked for, we're still able to stay within a strong financial reserve position. And so when we look at our total financial reserves, we'll have 25% of our general fund budget in financial reserves, which is pretty solid. $66 million in the form of a contingency reserve, and then some of our assigned reserves gives us that amount. In fact, this amount is slightly higher than the current year budget. So with that background, let me walk us through a little bit on some of the major enhancements that I'm recommending. These have been developed first by a professional recommendation from either the chiefs, the police or fire chief, or the director of the department working with their teams. One of the first things I did when I started in May was started meeting with all the department heads and the budget director, and a few other folks were in there. Several of the assistant city managers participated in either each or all of the meetings. And we heard every department present their budget presentation, and the recommendations that we're presenting are consistent with that professional recommendation. How can we better our services in each of those departments? So in the police department, we're recommending 5 new police officer positions to be funded in the budget, and also the policy commitment that we would add 5 each of the next 4 years for a total of 25 over a 5-year period. So the first 5 would be added in fiscal year 20 police officers, and then an additional 5 for each of the ensuing 4 years for a total of 25 police officers. We're recommending to replace the radios. We know that in the bond program, the emergency management system, public safety, I should say, radio system kind of backbone is being replaced, the antennas and other elements. But we needed money and a plan to replace the actual devices, the handheld radios. This budget does that by funding 1/3 of the first year of a 3-year no-interest payment to the radio maker, and we'll be replacing 800 public safety radios. We'll also put in all our police car in-car video systems. That's included in the budget. We're making upgrades to the 911 call center. We've done so already this year in some of the technology, but we're adding staff to help support the large number of calls coming in. We'll also add a digital forensic analyst. This will help in internet crimes, and it's an important component in the police department. And then we're looking at overtime funding to improve our beach safety. The police department will increase patrols by adding overtime dollars to their budget. In our fire department, we're going to expand the traditional cadet class size from what is normally about 34 to 50. So that means we'll train 16 more fire cadets to help alleviate a vacancy issue in that department. And so what that's going to do is we'll have professional full-time firefighters, but it'll help us to bring down the overtime budget that's existing today in that department, their overtime expenditures. We'll be adding an additional, thank you, we'll be adding an additional medic unit for the fire department as well. We want to maintain our strong response times, but as the city grows, it's important to add additional EMS personnel to reach the resident at those critical times. The budget will also add an important position for the development community. A fire protection engineer will be added. Today, we're outsourcing that function up to Fort Worth, believe it or not, and so the response times are slow. There's nobody here physically to inspect the building as it's being constructed, and so this will be added. In fact, I've asked the department to advertise it already in anticipation that the council approves it. There's also, we did send you a letter on this, but the city's recommending a increase to the firefighter retirement system, and we're also going to develop a plan for a multi-year look at this fund so that it's more financially solid. And then In our animal control, still in the area of public safety, we're recommending the addition of 2 positions, a live release coordinator, as well as some kennel technician, 1 kennel technician, and then also additional dollars for mosquito or vector control services in the community. Okay, in our parks area, which is very important to the community, and we have some great assets out there, we're basically going to increase maintenance and service in those park areas. So we have additional funding to reduce the mowing cycles, which now are every 30 days to 14 days. We'll be able to mow the grass more frequently in our parks. We're adding money for aquatic facility maintenance and maintenance of several of our park amenities and irrigation systems. An important thing for the community is we're going to recommend, or we are recommending in this budget, the elimination of the pool entrance fees. So today, a family per person can pay up to $5 to go into one of our swimming pools. We're recommending to cancel that beginning the next pool season. So free admission into our pools. This funding for the Bill Witt Park and the Heritage Park to develop a master plan so we can really put those parks into higher production and have them the assets that we want them to be. And then additional funding for McGee Beach, North Beach, and the Gulf Beaches to improve maintenance as well as safety. Now, we know we have that community enrichment fund, and the dollars are there to improve in our community. I'm recommending in this budget several things to be implemented using those dollars. A $1.25 million allocation to the Oso Creek Hike and Bike Trail project. Trees to be planted at Bill Witt, Water's Edge Park, and other locations. Low cost canvas shade structures at various parks. And also some improvements to the Greenwood Pool parking lot. In the area of solid waste, we're looking at improving their budget to get a better routing system so that we can be more efficient when we're out there picking up recyclables and trash. We'll also do additional street sweeping, 113 miles more in our community, and we'll convert temporary staff to permanent staff at the landfill and the Citizen Collection Center. In the area of community, we're also recommending to address a critical problem that faces our city, which is homelessness, as well as affordable housing. And so I'm recommending in this budget the redirection of 3 staff members to tackle those 2 critical issues. We also have money budgeted for the South Texas Military Task Force and the Nueces County, the Nueces Together census count that we talked about last week. And I'm also recommending funding for an obesity education awareness program to tackle that issue as well. $200,000 recommended. In the area of quality of life, we have some beautiful features that are being restored at the water gardens, but what we don't have up to this point is a maintenance budget for those items, and so I'm recommending dollars in the budget to help maintain that, as well as some of the features that we've put into place at the Packery Channel, some of those 6-pack amenities we talked about last week. And we know that there's dollars in the budget for the Packery Channel dredging projects, as well as some significant improvements to the arena facility. We talked about recently at the Type A board meeting. We want to improve the locker room experience for the Islanders, as well as the Ice Rays, as well as the visitor experience in the actual arena as well. In the area of utilities, there's several things listed here, but the big takeaway is we're going to do a lot of in-house sourcing. So we're bringing some of these functions that are basic and essential to having a water and wastewater system, bringing them back in-house. And in total, between this and 2 other departments, we'll save $4.8 million by bringing these functions inside. So as an example, in wastewater, we'll be adding 38 positions to clean and televise our wastewater lines, our sewer lines. This is a basic element of that business, and sourcing it out is not the best use of our financial resources, so bringing that back inside will help us save, in that area alone, $3 million. In asset management, you may have noticed some of the improvements at City Hall, and we're just beginning there at this major asset of ours, but we're recommending some additional staff members to better manage our space. We have over 600 facilities, the city does. Some of them may be small, but we have several buildings, fire stations, police substations. What we've seen is that we have not the best space utilization. We have some departments split 2-3 different ways. We're going to look to see how can we bring the department departments back together in one location through these various facilities with that space planner. And also bring in-house another position to help us with our HVAC systems system-wide. In our IT, we've been fortunate to have Peter Collins to help us turn that operation around. One thing he and I have talked about since I've been here, and it's been on his mind since he's been here, is our security. Our financial, our actual dollars in the bank, and our sometimes confidential and sensitive information, if not well protected, is open for the taking. And so we have money in the budget to help protect our infrastructure. Using the cloud for some of our data that we're storing today, as well as to set up security features for some of our enterprise features. In the area of engineering, this is another one of those departments where we're bringing some of these functions back in-house. And so we've talked about this already earlier this year, but we want to bring back some of the inspection functions and not necessarily use the engineering community in this way. We will use them in other ways, though. But by bringing this function in-house, we'll be able to save $780,000 in one fiscal year. We're also going to talk about, or we're also going to add or recommend adding a program manager to help the program managers oversee a group of some of the capital projects, and we're spread kind of thin. And so adding one more project manager will give each project manager a more manageable group of projects, as well as we're recommending to add a public information officer to help in that community outreach. We talked about some of these major corridors recently, and having the public and the business community more aware of what we're doing is part of that project. Now, this is probably one of the best slides of all, right, for the city and for the city council. And what this demonstrates is our funding recommended in the budget for street reconstruction and maintenance. And as you can see, we're at an all-time high, $128 million. That amount is more than the past 2 years combined. And so there's two things to point out. One, the voters and the residents have asked for this funding, and we have it. But I think more importantly for me is we have to deliver this. It's to show it on a chart and say we have it's one thing, but that's why this morning, meeting with all the executives, I talked to them about not only delivering on street maintenance and reconstruction, but everything I'm recommending in this budget. And so we're developing a system where the directors and our leadership team will develop implementation plans, implementation work plans. So we'll know month by month by month how can we accomplish this in one fiscal year. This isn't budgeted to spend over 3 years or 2 years. It's all to be done in this one fiscal year. And so I want to point that out in streets because this is a big commitment, but we need to make sure we can deliver. And so we're going to make sure we have the systems internally, and we may need to talk to the contracting community to make sure they can deliver as well. And that's already underway right now before October 1. I had one of the staff members put this chart together, and it looks confusing, and that's probably all we need to know about it, because it shows all our funding sources and restrictions on our street reconstruction in the city. So we have 8 different funding sources to do streets in the city, and there's restrictions. So some dollars can go to residential streets, others can only go to arterial and collectors, some money's for reconstruction, others is for full-blown maintenance. So this is just a nice chart to study someday. When you have time, we'll probably bring it back up during the streets budget presentation, but it's a good holistic approach of where all our money is dedicated and what program is receiving what source of funding. In streets, another area where we're going to bring in some of the work that we have to this date sourced out is just in the simple thing of developing a work plan for what streets get done in what month, and what company will help us do them, and what is the application type. We're going to bring that in-house at a team of 3 people that will save us $370,000. We also have 2 initiatives in the budget to do some strategic planning of our I-37 corridor. So as you make that last mile into Corpus Christi or so, we want the experience that people see and we see to be the best that we can do. So we have some dollars to do a corridor study, as well as in Northwest Boulevard in City Council District 1. We need to work with TxDOT to make that corridor appropriate for today's day and age, including better pedestrian safety. There's some significant sidewalk gaps. So we'll do a strategic corridor study, and that way we'll know how to tackle that issue, what finances we'll need moving forward. We're also doing more pavement marking, so some of those dollars we're saving and how we prepare our street program, we're putting them into production. So today we do 44 miles of street striping. It takes us about 10 years to get the whole city done then in that type of a cycle. We'll be able to do every stripe within a 3 to 5 year time period by increasing the budget to $350,000, and we'll do 100 miles of streets. Now, in total, we're increasing the personnel complement, as I mentioned, to be able to deliver these services. And so this chart just shows us a historical trend of sworn police and fire positions, as well as our civilian positions. We do have an increase in budgeted positions recommended of a little over 150 positions. And most of those, though, are actually converting what was temporary positions, especially in our solid waste operation or in our wastewater. We had numerous temps doing the work of one full-time position. But what we found out and what the departments are finding out, that it's not an efficient use of time or resources. You have to train somebody every so often, every six months or so. So you train somebody, but before you know it, they're gone. And so there's cost in recruiting and in training, and then there's lost productivity because they're not really the most proficient they can be. So we're recommending in some of those initiatives I talked to you about, converting temporary staff to full-time staff. Now, in the area of employee compensation, there's an important thing, and we've already talked to the executive team about this, and we'll get the word out to the organization. But today, for all employees, there's a guaranteed pay increase every year of 2.5%. That's called the STEP pay plan that was put in place several years ago. What that does for the professional employee is discourage high productivity, because if I'm doing an okay job and this other guy's doing a superior job, I'm still going to make the same he does in terms of a pay increase. So we're going to change that pay system to a twofold one for this year, which is a cost of living increase for those employees of 1% on October. But in January, we'll look at a performance-based pay increase based on performance of the prior 12 months. And so an employee that's low performing, a professional employee, will get 0%. But a high-performing employee can get an additional 4% increase for a total of 5%. It's the same amount of money that we're using. What this system does, though, is reward and actually encourage high production and high productivity and professionalism. So I was glad to talk to the team this morning about that. The hourly employees, the non-exempt employees will still be on the STEP pay plan for this year coming. We're also trying to improve our health care plans. One of the things I've heard since I've been here as city manager is that we have not the best health care plan. And so working with Steve Vieira and our Human Resources Department and his team, we're going to introduce to the employees, the civilian employees, a third plan, which is common in the private and public sector, called the Consumer Driven Health Care Plan, which has a health savings account that goes along with it. And so the plan has a higher premium cost at the doctors, but the employee keeps the money that they would otherwise provide to the city out of payroll deductions. And that money's flexible, it goes with the employee. And it's also, you can also invest it and have a return on interest. And we'll talk to you more about that as we go through our budget. In fire and police, the pay increases are based on the collective bargaining agreements, and the one scheduled for fire for this year is 4%, and the police is still under negotiation. And then in the area of our water rates and wastewater and gas, there's no proposed increase in either the wastewater or the gas. And in part, that's because of some of those efficiency measures we've done. In the water area, we're recommending a rate that'll be for 2 years. It'll be for this year and next year. Essentially, the rate for a median residential customer would be 84 cents more per month. And then for a commercial customer, it'll be about $8.50 increase each month going forward. And then in our capital budget, this is getting close to the end here. The capital budget is significantly more robust than last year. The bond program is now getting to the construction phase, the 2018 bond program. And this chart here is pretty busy as well, but it encapsulates the entire capital budget. It's a little over $300 million, $327 million. The biggest components you can see is in our public health and safety areas, streets, and then utilities, and that table kind of summarizes it. And so the next steps, as listed here, what we talked to you about in the beginning, we'll have 4 work sessions where the council can receive much more information on these improvements and on the base operations from the leaders of each of the departments that we have selected and scheduled. They'll be on Thursdays, beginning next Thursday, from the hours of 9 to 11, or longer if the council wants to stay longer. We have those 4 budget input sessions beginning on August 12th, and then that second week in August 19th and the 22nd will conclude those 5 community hearings. And we have the public hearings in the chamber as well. And then the first reading of the budget on the 10th for the adoption, and then the final adoption by the council on the 17th. So Mayor and members of the council, I'm happy and proud to present a budget as we're presenting today. I think it's very reflective of what the community has asked for. It does not have any tax rate increases except for the one the voters already approved and are looking for us to implement on. Thank you, Mayor.
Well, thank you, and it's phenomenal, the presentation, and I think it affirms that we made the right decision on our city manager, and we'll get into the nuts and bolts of it during this, but I would suspect that it hit all the target areas that the council is interested in, and it's always nice when you have the funds to do some things you want to do and not have to worry about making a bunch of cuts. It makes it a whole lot easier. And so we appreciate that. We're looking forward to it. Any council members, this is basically a presentation. Ms. Guajardo, you got a comment?
I have a quick comment. Thank you, Mayor. Mr. Zanoni, I just want to thank you because, you know, the public safety issue has always been of great importance, I think, to all of us. But I speak for myself right now, and you're the first one that has actually brought forth a plan. And the key word there was sustainable, or is sustainable. So that is a huge plus in this community. So I really thank you for that. And the presentation, it was very clear, and it's wonderful to see that in prioritizing and making some changes you have made, that there's money to do so much of what you're doing. So thank you very much.
And Mr. Hernandez?
Yeah, Peter, that was excellent, and I'd like to thank you and your staff for putting that together. And you know, you're hitting off a lot of the things that I know we talked about specifically, and I'm really glad to see the new performance evaluation aspect of tying that to pay. The adding the HSAs is an awesome thing. The 5 new street positions. I think it'll be a wonderful thing. And I wanted to ask on the engineering, the 10 positions you're adding in engineering, I'm assuming these are project managers?
The 10 positions added are for project inspectors. So when the project's under construction in the street, right now we have a mix of in-house and external contract workers that go and inspect to make sure the specifications are being met. And so we're going to bring more of that in-house for big cost savings. Yeah.
Okay, and I know you've only been here a short amount of time to be able to work a lot of these things into this budget. A lot of things that were priorities of mine, and I know some of the other city council members, and I truly appreciate the hard work you put in. I know you put in late nights here recently because the phone calls we'll have at late at night. So I appreciate it. Thank you very much,
Mr. Roy.
Yes, I would like to also thank the staff and Peter for your job on working on the budget. You know, I also want to thank you for the conversations we've had about Northwest Boulevard and some of the issues that we're having out there, the sidewalks, and also looking at a long-term solution to save the taxpayers money by getting a handle on our EMS system out there. And I think those are all important things that we're making progress. And again, it's refreshing to see some of those things that we're doing, and look forward to September 17th when we can approve this and go on down the road. Thank you.
Mr. Hunter?
Thank you. Great job. I just have a question because I was looking at one of the slides and trying to figure out where I was at on my computer. You had $1.1 billion as our annual budget, And this year, our annual budget's 924?
That's 983 million.
983?
Yes.
Okay,
Yep.
okay. Thank you.
Okay.
Okay. Seeing no more lights on, well, we'll look forward to our budget workshops but again, I appreciate it, and I think that.
And Mayor, if I could, just one other thing real quick, because I know we're going to get on to lunch, but I was remiss here not to mention that as much as the department heads and the police and fire chief helped to develop the budget, it really is the effort of our budget staff that was able to pull this all together. We know our director, Eddie Houlihan, is here. And talk about working some late nights. Eddie's got me beat by a couple of hours at least, but so he has. I know how hard these guys work. I started my career in the budget office in San Antonio and was that city's budget director for a number of years. But I did want to personally acknowledge and thank Eddie, and he has a great team upstairs. I want to recognize them each by name. You probably know some of them, but we have Christine Garza, Camille Taras, Grayson Meyer, Belinda Balderas, I'm sorry, Manuel Camarillo, Vanessa Sanchez, and Donna Vickers. That's our team that has been at it for several months now, working many weekends and many nights to pull everything together. So we're thankful for that great professional team, and led by Eddie. Thank you all. Yep.
Well, thank you so much. We're looking forward to it. We're still ahead a little the 1:30 thing, so let's go to item number. We've done everything up to now. Item number 18, a public hearing and second reading on closing and abandoning portion of a public street, Broadway Court between Water Street and Shoreline Boulevard. Who's going to handle that?
Good afternoon, Mayor, council members. Nina Nixon Mendez, Director of Development Services. This is a public hearing and second reading of an ordinance to close, vacate, and abandon a portion of Broadway Court between South Water Street and Shoreline Boulevard. The applicant is Frost Bank, and staff recommends approval. A notice was provided to 23 owners within 450 feet of the proposed street closure. Staff received 1 in favor and 5 in opposition. And I stand by for any questions you may have on this item.
Okay, so you had 1 in favor and 1 in opposition?
5 in opposition.
5 in opposition.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Council, all right, Ms. Werth, you gave me some instructions here that evidently I've been doing it wrong. So we talk. The council ask questions now, or wait?
You can ask questions now while she's there.
All right. Anybody have any questions at this point in the public hearing? Oh, he's broken. We need to have a budget amendment to get the lights fixed up here, Mr. All right.
Okay,
Now, all right, you're on.
Okay.
3, Molina.
Yes, thank you.
Used to doing it.
That's right. Yeah. He doesn't talk that much. It's, they thought they were neglected.
My only question is, you mentioned the letters that got returned in opposition, and usually those are included in the agenda, and I didn't see those here.
Right. We just received some of those over on Friday, and then also on Monday. But primarily their concerns were related to increased traffic due to the actual bank development. And then the issue concerning parking, that it would remove on-street parking. And so there was concern about parking related to our beachfront.
So the opposition was related to operations of the bank itself? And the increased traffic at the
That
bank?
was one concern, is just the traffic being generated by the development itself.
Okay.
And then, as I said, secondly, was the removal of the on-street parking associated with the street closure. Those were the 2 primary issues that were expressed.
That's all I had. Thank you very much.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, if there are no more comments, we'll open the public hearing for public comment. Anyone here have any comment in favor of or in opposition to this street closing? Going once? Going twice? We'll close the public hearing. No one spoke for the record in favor of or in opposition. I believe, if I recall, during the last presentation and some of the opposition that came in, I'm not sure whether they heard Mike Carroll, but actually I think you're going to increase parking potential as a result that the bank had agreed that those parking facilities would be available to the public at no charge, I think was his comment then. So we're actually going to gain paved parking instead of just vacant field parking as a result of this project. Is that correct?
That is correct. With the development of the bank, that will have 213 on-site parking spaces on both of
and that'll
those
be
blocks.
available to the public, particularly after 5 o'clock and on weekend.
Yeah, that is my understanding from the bank's testimony.
No charge, so then, okay.
Yes.
All right, entertain a motion then, either in favor of or in opposition for somebody for number 18.
Make a motion.
I second. Oh, well, go ahead.
All right, there's a motion in favor of item 18, and it's been seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Okay, number 18 passes. Number 19, it's a zoning case, Mount Olive Lutheran Church. And you got that one too. Go.
Yes, sir. This is a request to rezone a property from a single-family district to a professional office district. The purpose is to allow for the construction of an office building, and the applicant is Mount Olive Lutheran Church, represented by Medina Consultants. The property is located on the south side of Saratoga Boulevard, east of Long Meadow Drive and west of South Staples Street. Adjacent land uses are a church to the west and south, single family to the east, and across Saratoga Boulevard to the north. Commercial nodes are located at Long Meadow Drive, South Staples Street, and Everhart Road on Saratoga Boulevard. The intended use is to allow for the construction of an office building. The property is 0.69 acres in size and is unplatted, and the applicant is requesting ON Neighborhood Office District. The subject property is currently zoned RS6, Single Family 6 District, and is vacant. This is the zoning pattern for the surrounding area. The proposed rezoning is compatible with neighboring properties and with the general character of the surrounding area. The proposed ON zoning is a transitional district that provides for office and limited commercial uses. It is consistent with the adopted comprehensive plan, but it does warrant a change to the future land use map, which is high-density residential. Planning Commission met on June 12th, and the unanimous recommendation is approval of the change in zoning from RS6 Single Family 6 District to the ON Neighborhood Office District. There were 18 public notices mailed, 0 received in favor, and 1 in opposition. I stand by for questions.
Anyone have any questions on item number 19 or any comment? Is the applicant here? No. Anybody from the public have any comment on item number 19? Planning staff or the Planning Commission and staff recommend approval. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Entertain a motion then on item 19.
Make a motion. So moved.
There's a motion. Well, there's not a public hearing, right?
Yes, it is, Mayor. All these are public hearings, so.
Open the public hearing. Does anybody have anything to say? Let the record reflect nobody had anything to say during the public hearing. Public hearing closed. There's a motion on the floor for passage of item number 19.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Okay, and this is a public hearing on abandoning and vacating the road?
Yes, sir. This is regarding an easement closure. The purpose of this ordinance is to abandon and vacate a 4-foot wide by approximately 107 feet in length portion of an existing utility easement out of Lot 3, Block 4, Manhattan Estates Unit 7, located at 3729 Berkeley Drive. The city is requesting on behalf of Foster Dynamic Design the partial closure of the easement to facilitate the sale of the home. Here's an aerial overview of the property located at 3729 Berkeley Drive, and major streets near the property are Airline Road to the east and Lipes Boulevard to the south. Currently, the house foundation encroaches onto a 10-foot utility easement by approximately 4 feet. The proposed utility easement closure measures approximately 4 feet wide by approximately 107 feet in length. And the encroachment was identified during a title company survey. No public or franchised utilities object to the proposed utility easement closure, and no utilities are located in the section of the easement being vacated. Staff recommends approval of the utility easement closure, and I stand by for questions.
And this public hearing?
Well, see if the council has questions, and then.
Is the-
Yes, this
anybody
is
got
a public hearing too.
Anybody got any comments on this one? Hopefully, with the addition of inspectors and the staff, we can eliminate these things in the future. I don't see how you can build a slab 4 feet over in the easement without some inspector out there catching it. But
Yes, sir. And we have instituted new administrative directives related to our residential plan review, which requires a peer review. So we have 2 sets of eyes on our site plans now. We've also instituted additional training of our residential plan review personnel.
I understand 6 or 8 inches, sometimes wind may be blowing, but 4 feet's pretty substantial. All right. Any other comments from the council, Mr. Hernandez?
Yes. As I understand, there's another issue associated with this particular property. Are we addressing that as well?
Yes, in addition to the encroachment on the easement, there's also encroachment related to the setbacks, the zoning setbacks. That case was heard at the Zoning Board of Adjustment on July 24th. The Board of Adjustment denied the petition's application. There are 3 options available to the applicant related to a variance request to the setbacks. They can appeal to district court within 10 days of the order, and so they have by August the 2nd to appeal to district court. They can also ask for reconsideration to the Zoning Board of Adjustment due to new information, so based on council action related to this easement, that could be reconsideration of the case. Thirdly, staff is proposing an amendment to the Unified Development Code that allows for administrative relief in relation to easement closures with respect to a zoning setback. So if council were to approve an easement closure, then staff would have that administrative authority to provide that relief. That amendment is coming forward with a set of amendments to City Council on August the 20th. To be considered in the second reading of that would be on the 27th of August.
Thank you.
Okay, I don't see any more lights. Open the public hearing. Any public comment on item number 20? Any public comment? Close the public hearing. There was no public comment in favor of or in opposition to item 20, and entertain a motion for approval.
I'll make the motion to approve.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Okay, go down to the regular agenda items 21, 22, and 23 we've already done. So we got 2 items on the 21 and 22. Who's doing that?
Well, those can be taken together, Mayor, actually, unless someone wants to pull one for individual consideration.
All right, 21 and 22, first reading. Anybody? I don't see any lights lit up. I'll entertain a motion then for approval on the first reading items 20 and 21.
21 and
22.
So moved.
All right, there's a motion and a second on items 21 and 22. Any discussion?
Oh, who seconded? I'm sorry.
Hadn't heard a second yet.
Second.
Thank you. Okay.
All right. Any discussion on items 21 or 22 on the first reading? Any public comment? Not entertain a motion. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? 23. We voted on that already, haven't we?
Yes, sir.
Had the big whoop-de-doo on that. All right, which is a great project. And Why don't we then go, we've hit the executive session, let's see, 24, we've done that. Wonderful presentation. Then the council will go into executive session on item 25 and 26 per the Texas Government Code Section 551.071, and we shall return.
And can we also do 27, Mayor?
Huh?
We can do 27 as well.
All right, well, I'll take that back. All right,
Well,
start
we can
over.
do 25, 26,
The
and
council will go into executive session on items 25, 26, and 27.
There you go.
The Government Code Section 551.071, and we shall return when completed, and those are issues related to waste management on one, consulting with legal on franchise agreement with AEP on another, and one about a lawsuit, Salinas Construction, et cetera. We're in recess, or at least we'll go into executive session.
At any given time, the City of Corpus Christi has hundreds of street projects in the works. A lot goes into improving the city: planning, patience, and of course, dedicated workers. Nearly 230 employees make up our Public Works Department. That's a combo of street operations and engineering divisions. In this edition of Field Ops, we're heading out with Inspector Jeffrey Mayer as he meets up with contractors in Yorktown and Rodfield for an on-site sieve analysis for one of Bond 2014's road improvement projects.
Make sure everything's done by our spec book, city standards, city specifications. We monitor the work. We document what work is completed, what work is in progress.
Mayer has been with the city for almost 3 years. Before that, he spent a couple of decades building houses. That experience strengthened the planning and management skills needed by one who's taken on the many responsibilities in his line of work.
Right now, Yorktown has Airline Extension is the only way to get onto Rodfield from Yorktown. Well, that's all fixing to change. We're making it a T intersection.
It's day 122 of 810, and Yorktown needs to pass a lab test so crews can continue building this new stretch of road.
We got about an hour and 10 minutes before our testing lab shows up, so the first thing I'm going to do is drive the limits of my project and check my traffic control plan.
It's something done on a daily basis. Corpus Christi residents are no strangers to our wind, and neither are traffic cones.
Barrels get blown around, signs get blown over.
Traffic control remains an essential part of any project. Drivers need to know where to go on their daily commute, but they also need to follow the signs and stick to their directions. Mayor keeps in contact with other departments on projects like this. Public Works and Utilities constantly plan and work together to overcome whatever unexpected situations that occur.
We all work pretty good together. Coordination on certain things. Everybody's busy right now in the city of Corpus. We're doing a lot of work in all our departments.
While the CCPD handles drivers and multiple departments find solutions to some surprise problems, there's one thing this inspector has no control over: the weather.
In the month of May, the contract already allows for 4 rain days. This month, the first 10 days we couldn't work on this project. It was underwater, so there's 6 days over their allotted rain days right now, and we're only the 22nd.
So now, contractors get 6 extra days to work on the project. Speaking of rain,
we got about 30 minutes before our test. We're gonna go check on our stormwater crew real quick.
underground utilities are part of this project, and with 10 days of rain, there's a good amount of stormwater. That's why this crew monitors the system and makes sure drainage remains copacetic during construction.
This is Master Channel 31. Of course, because of all the rain, we've got a lot of water in it right now. It's generally not this high.
After getting a satisfying look at how stormwater systems work, it was time to check out progress on Yorktown Boulevard. Once open, Mayor expects it to be an even busier roadway.
Everybody from Flower Bluff that wants to get to the south side of Corpus Christi, plus you've got Rancho Vista, which is a major subdivision. We have this new subdivision behind us being built. Del Mar College is being built where our lime tank is.
But before drivers can experience the full glory of the improved road, the subgrade needs to pass an important test. After a lab tech arrives, he gets a few samples of their subgrade, or road mixture, and begins testing. The contractor and mayor wait for the results.
70.
The lab tech tested a 10-pound sample of the mixture, and 3 of those pounds didn't pass through the 4th sift.
Our city spec says it has to be 85% through the number 4. We're at 70% through the number 4, so it's a fail.
Because the test failed, the contractor has to remix the subgrade for another test. This failure also puts them back a few days. While it doesn't feel good, it's all to make sure the city receives a premium quality road. The day's plans have changed after the testing upset, so Mayor decides to head back to the office and prepare for his future project, Slough Road.
That's what we deal with.
The City of Corpus Christi wants you to know what we do and what services and programs we provide, and answer any questions or concerns you might have. That is why the city put on the 3rd annual City Hall in the Mall.
More than 30 city departments participated in City Hall in the Mall in June at La Palmera to reach out to residents with information about important services and programs the city offers, like child fingerprinting, the Latchkey program, adopting a pet, and payment plans for utility bills. City staff and council members were on hand to answer questions.
It's been a great experience and a great day. The best part about this is that we, the city, are coming out to the public. And so it makes it very, very easy for them to be in the same place that we are. And also the setting is very casual.
City staff handed out treats, prizes, and items with contact information to help residents get in touch with city departments if a need or issue comes up. Employees also gave demonstrations like how to extinguish a fire, how rainfall affects floodplains, the difference between sober and intoxicated vision, and driving the Rover X that searches underground pipes. Residents talk about what they enjoyed about City Hall in the Mall.
It's been really fun. The kids have enjoyed it so much, and it's been really interesting to see all of the different city operations. Everybody's been so helpful, and we've gotten lots of good information in a fun way.
It's fun, actually. They're very, very helpful with fingerprinting the kids. Very gentle. They make them feel not scared at all. All in all, I think we had a good time. I think y'all did an awesome job. Basically, it was basically just self-explanatory, and keep up the good work.
For more information on city departments, visit cctexas.com or follow on social media. Also watch the city's channel, CCTV.
Reporting for the City of Corpus Christi, I'm Eva Padilla.
Corpus Christi has a commission that is dedicated to preserving our history and heritage. The Landmark Commission meets every fourth Thursday of the month, and they serve a very important purpose to our community.
The Landmark Commission is dedicated to helping to preserve the city's landmarks, history, heritage, to engaging the public in the stewardship of our heritage.
On Thursday, May 23rd, the Commission honored 2 of our citizens with awards of preservation. The Landmark Commission Preservation Project Award was given to Dr. Jeff Allen for his renovation on the old Taylor Brothers building, which was built in the 1930s and is now known as the Bay Jewel Event Center, located at 624 Mesquite.
It was an incredible example of how a historic building can be adapted and reused into a contemporary context. It now serves as an event space downtown, open for the use of individuals, families, organizations, businesses, and kind of revitalizes our downtown space.
Laura Sandoval is the general manager of the Jewel, and she talked to us about all they did to revitalize the old building and people's initial reaction to the renovation.
Almost everybody walks in and says, there's nothing like this downtown, there's nothing like this in Corpus Christi, and they love the look because we kept the stained concrete, well, the concrete floors and restained them. A lot of the original pillars that were support beams were in the building, but they put brick around them, which they found in the building. So that was kind of cool. And then they put new windows in, but they kept where they were originally in kind of the original look.
By adapting and reusing these historical buildings, it brings a historical element to our city that helps provide a community fabric that gives us a sense of unity and pride. The second award that was given out that night was presented to Anita Eisenhower. She received the Spirit of Preservation Award because of her work to help weave the historical fabric of our city for the past few decades. She has served multiple terms in commissioner and leadership roles within the Corpus Christi Landmark Commission, Nueces County Historical Society, and Nueces County Historical Commission.
I've been very involved in historical community since, I guess, the mid-70s. And I was lucky to have some mentors who gave me guidance about what is going on in our city and what is important.
You may have seen some of these historical markers around the city and county. Well, Anita has overseen submissions and dedications of dozens of these state markers for the surrounding areas. She even finds time to write them herself. She wrote the marker about the old Bayview Cemetery because to her, it's one of the most important historical markers that we have.
This is the greatest asset of the city of Corpus Christi because it began when our city began, and it also incorporates all of anyone that possibly lived in Corpus Christi through that period, being military people, mayors, preachers, just anyone, a person who even dredged the first channel for our port is buried there. It is not segregated. We have a Buffalo Soldier there.
These 2 individuals have laid out the blueprint of what our city and our citizens can accomplish with the right motivation and drive. They understand that in order to move forward, we must not forget the past.
Recognizing individuals who have dedicated their time and their effort, who've invested in that process, whether it's revitalizing, readapting, and reusing a historic building that's been a centerpiece of downtown life for decades, or whether it's individual acts over and over again that an individual does to recognize a particular place or a particular event in our history.
It's important for Corpus Christi to keep our past in our present, and by visiting these landmarks, you will be helping weave the fabric of our community. If you want to learn more about what's going on in our historical community, attend one of the Landmark Commission meetings. You can look up the agenda on our website, www.cctexas.com.
The city held its annual hurricane evacuation drill here at the Corpus Christi Gym. And to them, it's not just another exercise. What staff works on and practices here could mean the difference in someone's life down the road.
It wasn't too long ago that our area was impacted by a hurricane, and thanks to the city's annual hurricane evacuation drill, our staff knew what to expect.
Prior to Harvey, we had done it 6 years in a row, and so when Harvey did come, the actual event, we were ready and we were prepared, and the staff did a great job of evacuating people.
Now, the drill isn't just for the employees of the city. It's also a way to help inform the public and keep our citizens aware of the importance of staying prepared.
As each family should already have an evacuation plan or an emergency preparedness plan for your own family.
A starting point is deciding whether you're going to stay or evacuate. If the answer is to evacuate, then it's important to take the proper documents with you, any medication you're taking, and don't forget about your pets.
The RTA suspends the charges, so it's free. Bring your luggage, and we do evacuate pets. To us, we evacuate the whole community, and pets as part of a family, we make sure that the pet will go with its owner.
After everything is packed and you're ready to evacuate, head to the closest bus stop, and there you'll be picked up and taken to Corpus Christi Gym. From there, you'll enter the gym and go to the registration tables. If you have a driver's license, it'll speed up the process because all you have to do is scan it and they'll have all your relevant information.
Once that's all done, then they come to the loading area, which is here behind us. And as soon as we get buses available, then we start scanning them onto the buses.
From there, the buses will take you to a safe location until it's time to come back. Make sure you keep this yellow wristband on you at all times. It's what the city is using to track you and your family, even the little furry ones.
Well, we've got to be able to track the people. And this system that we use tracks them from the time they register until they come back to Corpus.
Once this is clear, once the city is safe to come back, and we would bring them back the same way.
Drills like this help us stay prepared. For more information on what to do in the event of a hurricane, visit our website at www.cctexas.com. Reporting for the City of Corpus Christi, I'm Brad Godeke.
Fire Station 18 celebrated the unveiling of their new fire truck that has the latest technology. Engine 18 is officially in service.
The Corpus Christi Fire Department marked the occasion with a traditional wet-down ceremony. Council members and other officials wiped down Engine 18 as part of the dedication ceremony to show the truck is ready to respond to calls immediately.
We're here today at Fire Station 18 to celebrate taking another step forward for the City of Corpus Christi and for the fire department when it comes to providing fire protection for the west side.
The fire engine features cutting-edge technology.
It comes equipped with airbags, side row protection for the firefighters, but also the capacity and the capability of the fire truck. It is able to pump 2,000 gallons per minute, which is an enormous amount of water. It also has a 40-gallon foam tank on it in cases that we have to throw foam. This fire truck is the latest and the most up-to-date fire trucks that we can get.
The brand new truck also has Firecom headsets to talk with dispatch, a 500-gallon water tank, a backup camera, a 1,000-foot large diameter hose, and a 400-foot quick attack hose. The city has prepared Fire Station 18 for service quickly. The city broke ground on Fire Station 18 in 2016, celebrated the opening ceremony in 2017, and 2 years later unveiled their new apparatus to begin taking calls. City Council approved the purchase of the more than $600,000 truck a year ago.
Reporting for the City of Corpus Christi, I'm Eva Padilla.
Corpus Christi has many historical landmarks, and you'll want to get out to see them. That's why May is such a big month for our community.
In May, we're joining together with many citizens across the nation and celebrating National Preservation Month. Historic preservation is extremely important on the local, state, and national level.
Without preservation, we would be losing some of Corpus Christi's most iconic landmarks, which means we would also be losing our history and heritage to Father Time.
The oldest residence that is currently standing in its original position is called the Centennial House, and it's the Forbes Britton House, named for two people who called it home, and it stands up on the bluff in its original site from the 1840s.
The Centennial House, which is located at 411 North Upper Broadway, played a big role in our history. It was built in 1849 and used as a hospital and a mess hall for the federal troops in the 1800s. Historic preservation needs two legs to stand on, and the first leg is
public advocacy. In public advocacy, communities identify historic resources that are important to them and acknowledge those resources. And secondly, a lot of preservation is undertaken through private development.
Some of our historical properties have been redeveloped by private developers and are now thriving businesses. It's important to go out and help visit these places to help spread awareness. And when you do, post it on social media with the hashtag #ThisPlaceMatters and also hashtag #ThisPlaceMattersCC.
Tell those stories about your family's history, you know, where you and your grandfather had a hamburger at this one place and you went by this building, or you visited this one house, or you're loosely connected to, you know, some prominent Corpus Christi figure.
Rip currents. They're narrow, fast-moving channels of water starting near the beach and extending offshore. Think of the current as a treadmill. It can travel as fast as 8 feet per second. Great weather for the beach does not always mean it's safe. Rip currents often form on calm, sunny days with waves only 2 to 3 feet high. They're quite fast coming along our Gulf Coast and can be deadly to new swimmers. Here are some tips on handling a rip current and possibly saving your life. Always remember to stay relaxed. Trying to swim against a rip current uses up energy you needed to survive and escape the rip current. One of the most important things to remember: wave, yell, swim parallel. Rip currents don't pull you under, they pull you away from the shore. Wave and yell for help and swim parallel along the shoreline until you escape the current's pull. If you feel you can't swim, don't panic. Keep your head above water, face the shore, and call and wave for help. If possible, only swim at beaches with lifeguards. The City of Corpus Christi beach warning flags only fly when lifeguards are in the stands and are put up within 30 minutes of their arrival. The top flag will be white with a red cross, followed by a green, yellow, or red flag for surf conditions. Green means there's low hazard surf conditions, yellow for medium, and red for high. Keep an eye on these flags. If conditions change throughout the day, the flags do too. If you choose to swim on beaches without a lifeguard, never swim alone. Take a friend and have that person take a cell phone so they can call 911 for help. Also, check water conditions before going in by looking at the local beach forecast before you leave for the beach. For more information, visit cctexas.com or call the Corpus Christi Beach Office at 361-826-3469. That's 361-826-3469. Remember, when in doubt, don't go out.
The health department has the latest technology in body fat composition. It's the state-of-the-art Bod Pod.
The Health District's 1115 waiver program provides chronic disease prevention to Medicaid, low-income, uninsured, and underinsured families. Prevention includes offering free wellness screenings, free diabetes classes, and outreach to community centers and senior centers.
We do a lot of it is diabetes prevention. You know, one in 5 people out there have diabetes, and they're walking around, they don't even know it. So diabetes is one check. Hypertension is another. That's a part of our screenings. You know, they call hypertension the silent killer because people are walking around with elevated blood pressure, and then they end up in the ER with a, you know, God forbid, a heart attack or a stroke.
As part of the chronic disease prevention and outreach, the 1115 waiver program bought the Bod Pod and trailer in 2018. The egg-shaped machine measures body fat composition to help select people at risk to chronic diseases like diabetes or heart disease.
So once we get to a location, we need to calibrate our equipment here since we are a mobile unit. After I get her weight on the scale, now she will come in here and sit inside the Bod Pod. Make sure you breathe normally. If you do panic, there is a cancel button at the bottom if you do panic and you want the test to stop. We run 2 tests. They're about 90 seconds each. Good job, that's it. I will send her back. You can go put your clothes on, and I will print her results for her while she is getting dressed.
The Bod Pod testing offers 3 price packages. The first package is $50 that includes A1C and a hypertension screening. The second package adds a pre- and post-test over a 3-month span for $90. And the third package has 3 tests over a 6 or 9 month period for $110. The 1115 waiver program saw about 100 patients per month as of September 2017, but has increased to about 250 patients per month in 2019. The division's goal is to partner with companies to use the BodPod and help fund other services they offer.
We're trying to partner with corporations, people, they want healthy employees. So we want to say, hey, this is an effort for us to get out there for you. We'll do your screenings on site. We'll start a fitness challenge for your employees. We'll come back in 3 months, maybe 6 months, whatever you'd like. We'll set it up to your liking and incentivize them to stay healthy.
Call the 1115 waiver program at 361-826-1115 for more information or to set up an appointment.
Reporting for the City of Corpus Christi, I'm Eva Padilla.
The Corpus Christi Fire Department spent a week teaching new search and rescue techniques to Latin American fire departments. These firefighters will go back home and teach what they've learned.
The fire department's knack for saving lives isn't limited to the city. The knowledge shared with this group of Mexican and South American bomberos will be put towards everyday situations back home. You see, the modern-day fire service is an all-hazard agency. Not only do firefighters respond to fires, they also handle medical emergencies, hazardous materials, and of course, search and rescue.
Our rescue requirement is all-encompassing in that there are many, many different facets of rescue that these firefighters are learning.
The visiting firefighters spent time in the classroom, receiving instruction and learning new skills for the coming week. The language barrier, a challenge easily handled by this group.
We have some members of the McAllen Fire Department and the Mission Fire Department that were kind enough to come up and act as not only instructors but interpreters as well.
After a couple of days of hitting the books, the team practiced their newly acquired skill, shoring. Crews cut the wood that built the protective structures. While doing this, fire department instructors randomly alerted the teams. This drill allowed them practice for taking shelter inside the load-bearing safety tool.
We're also having to use the stuff that is going to be available to them. So it's not just all using, the latest and greatest equipment, but also, they may not have certain saws. They may have a chainsaw, so they're going to use the chainsaw to cut wood. We'll let them use a chainsaw instead of some of the other saws that we carry.
The focus on shoring, no coincidence. In 2017, Mexico City experienced a massive earthquake that injured thousands and killed hundreds. The destruction, a not so distant memory for one bombero.
Hace 3 años tuvimos una clase muy similar aquí en Corpus. Y el 19 de septiembre, cuando sucedió lo del sismo, su servidor y mis compañeros viajamos a la Ciudad de México para reunirnos con nuestros compañeros los topos, que somos parte de, y utilizamos este tipo de apuntalamientos. Nos acordamos mucho de lo que aprendimos aquí en Corpus.
After time in the classroom and search and rescue scenarios, the city's visitors graduated from their schooling, each one of them knowing more and ready to return home better prepared for any emergencies needing their assistance.
To stay up to date with what's going on in the city of Corpus Christi, head over to news.cctexas.com. For the city of Corpus Christi, I'm Dale Stefan reporting.
The city's code enforcement department wants to remind you that every building must have a visible address identification. The address identification must be legible and visible from the street or road in front of the property and must follow these regulations. If your building cannot be viewed from a public road, a monument, pole, or other sign may be used to identify the structure. If your house number isn't visible, emergency services will have a harder time finding you. For more information, visit us at www.cctexas.com.
It's almost summer, and the city of Corpus Christi is looking for lifeguards to work its Gulf beaches. You need to be 16 or older and know how to swim. We will provide the training. If you enjoy the outdoors, staying active, and working with people, then this job is the right one for you. Join our experienced and dedicated Gulf Beach rescue team and make it a summer to remember. Apply today at www.cctexasjobs.com or call 826-8542. Are you 16 or older looking for a summer job? The City of Corpus Christi Parks and Recreation Department has several temporary positions available for various summer recreation programs. We're looking for pool managers, lifeguards, and swim instructors. Enjoy working with the youth? There are more than 100 positions open for our Latchkey summer camps and the Summer Spark program. We invite you to join our dynamic, energetic, and creative staff. Apply today go to our website, www.cctexasjobs.com, or call 826-3460. The city wishes you could see the utility lines our specialists see, but you can't. That's why it is important to call 811 2 days before you dig. Just provide the location of your project and what is being done. Then a specialist will go to the location and mark the underground lines. Now you can begin your project. It's not just the safe thing to do, it's the law. Remember, know what is below. Call 811 before you dig.
The Salinas Park Play for All Playground at 1354 Airport Road is a multi-phase project between Corpus Christi's Housing and Community Development and Parks and Recreation Departments. Their goal? Building a quality complex that includes a wide array of play elements for everyone to enjoy. This ADA-friendly playground is the first of its kind in the city, and Community Development Block Grants made it possible. Phases 1 and 2 feature slides, swings, play decks, and activities for visitors of all ages. The vibrant design includes many imaginative pieces aimed at engaging the senses and building motor skills. The playground features many attractions. There's a zip line, sways, swings, a flat roller slide, quiet space, and a fenced play area. Designers equipped the playground with a uniformed surface, allowing easy access through the entire play zone. The equipment receives shade from a huge weather-resistant canopy. This addition also adds longevity to the structure and surface areas. There's also a low-maintenance extreme climate coating to help fight rust, a side effect of our coastal climate. The Play for All Playground is right next to Miracle League Field, a fully accessible ball field with ADA accessible parking areas and sidewalks, also funded by CDBG. The Salinas Park project is part of the Parks and Recreation Master Plan and shows the passion the city has for ADA accessibility. ADA accessibility remains a priority, and Corpus Christi hopes to create more Play for All playgrounds like Salinas in other parts of the city, but on a smaller scale. Please come play with us.
It's never too late to jumpstart a healthy lifestyle. Exercising lowers your risk for chronic disease and helps anyone managing conditions like diabetes, high blood pressure, and heart disease. It's as easy as walking or as rigorous as running a marathon. Healthy lifestyle should be started early in life, so parents, be sure to encourage your kids to be active at an early age. Look around. Corpus Christi provides beautiful parks, trails, and swimming pools for your family to enjoy. It is never too late to commit to be fit. Start today. Submit your pictures to our social media page with the hashtag #ABetterYou or ABU.
The City of Corpus Christi wants to improve as much as possible, and one of the things we're working to perfect is roads. And with road improvement projects comes construction. Road construction can cause delays and detours. That's why the city keeps you up to date with weekly road reports. You can find out what to expect during the week by heading over to news.cctexas.com. There you can also sign up to receive emails with information from the City of Corpus Christi. If you have any questions about road work, call 361-826-CITY. That's 361-826-2489.
Hello, Corpus Christi. I'm Yvette Garcia-Jones. Thank you for joining us for our monthly engineering update. Our first project, Slough Road from Rodfield Road to Amethyst Drive, will see a full-depth reconstruction and widening of the roadway. This project is funded by Type B sales tax proceeds. Additional improvements will include curb and gutter, sidewalks, street lighting improvements, and a new underground stormwater system. There will also be limited upgrades to Ametrine Drive to facilitate traffic access during and after construction. The second project is a joint City and TxDOT participation project that is completed. The Pedestrian Hybrid Beacon, or PHB, traffic signal has been installed at Ocean Drive and Delmar Boulevard. This new traffic signal will provide safer pedestrian access from the nearby neighborhoods across Ocean Drive to Cole Park. Improvements for the PHB project include installation of the foundations, signal poles, mast arms, signal heads and beacons, audio and visual features, and a controller cabinet. That's all for the July report. For more information about these projects, visit cctexas.com and be sure to follow us on social media for more project updates. Thank you for joining us, and we'll see you next month.
Emergency planning agencies with the city of Corpus Christi gather at the Owen Stevens plant for a hazmat drill. Events like these help everyone be prepared in the event that something like this happens. The water plant, like any production facility, contains some inherent risks. And to help city employees and emergency crews be ready for these things, the Corpus Christi's Local Emergency Planning Committee, or LEPC, planned this full-scale emergency preparedness drill.
The possibility of having a leak, whether a small one or a big one, it's always in the back of our mind, and we need to prepare for it. And this is what this is about.
Plant employees, Corpus Christi's police and fire departments, the EOC, Union Pacific Railroad, and surrounding emergency crews participated in the event. Organizers created a very possible hazardous material scenario for the team.
Chemicals are everywhere. It doesn't matter whether we're at a water treatment plant or an industrial facility or at someone's home. There's always going to be chemicals involved in our day-to-day life.
During the drill, a worker passed out after getting near the train track. Then, green and yellow smoke representing chlorine gas could be seen leaking from the top of a rail car. Plant employees and emergency crews went into action, everyone treating it like a real situation. Police even diverted traffic, and a reverse alert was sent to residents within a 1-mile radius, letting them know to shelter in place.
We're seeing a lot more rail activity in the community, and so it's always good to be able to expose them to something that, they may be seeing in the future.
A lot is learned during drills like these. Not only does it give folks physical practice for the real situation, it also helps everyone involved get familiar with the plant's layout and surroundings. So, in the event of an emergency, it isn't the first time they're on the premises working under these conditions. This is also a chance for everyone to hone their communication skills. In any emergency, getting the right information to the right groups at the right time helps things flow smoothly and allows the team to coordinate their efforts properly.
Getting this right means protecting the public. This is a situation that would leave the confines of the plant, which means that we now have the areas involved, the population.
You drill like it's real, and so when the time comes, then everybody already knows what they're doing. They've seen each other, they communicate with each other, they know who's in charge, and so they know their job and their responsibilities.
The plant drills internally once a year, and everyone uses the same tools like the ones used today. During the drill, plant employees dressed in full hazmat gear and sealed off the leaking gas. A command station was set up, and paramedics even prepared a triage center to check vitals and help with injuries.
All of them were well trained on what they needed to do, and this is why they are, because they do train. We'll go back to the evacuation of Hurricane Harvey. We drilled evacuations for 5-6 years, and why do we do this? Why do we do this? Well, when Harvey happened, we knew exactly what to do.
For more information on how to react in any emergency situation, visit the city's website, www.cctexas.com. For the City of Corpus Christi, I'm Dale Stefan reporting.
It takes hard work and many volunteers to help clean and maintain more than 190 Corpus Christi parks. The Parks and Recreation Department need volunteers to help with scheduled cleanups, building play equipment, planting trees, and other landscape maintenance. Volunteers and groups can apply to adopt a park by calling Lisa Oliver at 361-826-3132 or email at lisao@cctexas.com. Adopt a park today. When volunteering, you're not only helping others, you're helping yourself. That's why you should join the Senior Companion Program. The Senior Companion Program assists seniors and adults with daily activities, exercise, errands, appointments, social events, and of course, friendship. Volunteers receive help with transportation costs, earned vacation, and even sick leave. Becoming a senior companion is easy. Anyone 55 and older can sign up. You must be retired and meet the financial guidelines to receive payment. To apply, call 361-826-3154 or 361-826-3167. We hope we see you at the next training orientation.
Mosquito spraying recently received a lot of attention because of the Coastal Bend's heavy rainfall, but it's not the only way to eliminate mosquitoes. The City of Corpus Christi's primary defense against a blood-sucking insect is the larvicide program. It can be safely used around the public and is proven to be an effective method for treating mosquito-prone areas. That's why vector control officers, with the help of code enforcement, place BTI briquettes or donuts in standing water around the city. For more information on the city's battle against mosquitoes, head over to our website, cctexas.com, and to report standing water, just send the address and your phone number to the Animal Care Dispatch at cctexas.com. The city of Corpus Christi invited the public to a storm drain cleaning demonstration. This event gave residents an up-close look at the impact blocked drains can have on the city. The city experienced record-breaking rainfall this summer, and by fall already reached its yearly average. That's why city crews gathered at this ditch at Dairy Drive and Skyline and showed one of the ways they keep the storm drainage system clean.
It is important for the public to see, first of all, the work that we do, and second, the amount of debris that collects inside the storm system.
Storm drains like this are cleaned 2 to 3 times a year.
Well, as rain falls from the sky, it collects pollutants from the air and everything that it contacts on the ground.
And all of that rainwater, trash, and pollutants flow through the gutters and into one of more than 18,000 storm drain inlets throughout the city. These drains lead into ditches and ultimately the bay. Over time, drains and ditch grates can become clogged with plastic bags, brush, and other debris. These clogs can lead to backups and flooded streets. That's not the only problem. Because residents use fertilizers and pesticides on their yards, lawn trimmings and brush can contribute to water pollution.
Residents can help us by not setting their yard waste out before the collection time, and also to not blow grass clippings out to the street.
Turner also says to follow the instructions on the labels of lawn chemicals. If you see any blocked drains, ditches, or need to report any illegal dumping, call 361-826-CITY. To stay up to date with what's going on in the city, head over to news.cctexas.com. For the city of Corpus Christi, I'm Dale Stefan reporting. Providing water. It's just one of the many responsibilities that the city of Corpus Christi takes on for the folks who call this warm, sunny South Texas city home. And as residents know, that comforting sun they appreciate while enjoying a day at the beach can also bring on sweltering heat that leads to dreaded drought conditions. And with drought conditions come water restrictions.
In 2011 to 2013, this area of South Texas was highly influenced by a drought.
That's why council members this summer decided to move forward with the City of Corpus Christi desalination project.
All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed?
A decision that could bring a drought-proof water supply to residents and the surrounding community, and because we're surrounded by the ocean, it just makes sense.
We will study or review site location permitting of a potential seawater desalination plant.
The city is looking to build a plant that can produce 11 million gallons per day to about 22 million gallons per day. A desalination plant removes the minerals like salt and sand from water and makes it safe for human consumption. Ramos, along with a team of consultants from Fries & Nichols, an engineering firm, plan on spending the next 2 years researching the possibility of building a desalination plant right here in South Texas. Water produced by the plant will add to the city's existing water supply and help meet future water demands. Right now, the city has 4 major water sources: Choke Canyon, Lake Corpus Christi, Lake Texana, and the Colorado River.
All these sources are surface water sources, so they're dependent upon inflows and rainfall throughout the year to meet our demands.
The potential desalination plant wouldn't connect to those freshwater inflows, and because the source is the ocean, the city can provide a dependable water source that can be integrated into our system. But making science fiction a reality is easier said than done.
It's more than just taking water out of the sea and then just filtering it through a reverse osmosis. You have to make sure that you protect the system.
Right now, Ramos says they're looking at multiple sites in the Corpus Christi and La Quinta ship channel. The team needs to see if those locations meet their objectives and if they can get the water rights and TCEQ discharge permits. You see, with water desalination comes waste or effluent.
So we would work with the state to obtain those special authorizations so that we can continue to discharge our seawater, our effluent into the bay. In this project, we'll make those needed determinations and do the proper science so that we can obtain those permits.
One popular technique, adding a diffuser to the end of the discharge line. This allows the effluent to mix properly with the seawater. If all goes well, the city of Corpus Christi could have a saltwater desalination system by 2026.
And we have to be prepared from a water resource point of view to provide that water to our customers.
It's just one of the ways the city plans for future needs and strives to improve water quality, customer satisfaction, and productivity. We'll keep you updated in the future as the project moves forward.
Care Services want you to take advantage of the services they provide, from adopting a pet to renting one of their free wild animal traps.
The department's responsibility: promoting responsible pet ownership, preventing the spread of diseases, and protecting the public. They also provide services like the Adopt a Pet program. At any given time, their kennels are filled with nearly 100 dogs and around 40 cats. And residents can give any of those furry guys a new home for $25.
And when you adopt from Animal Care Services, that cat or dog is spayed and neutered. It has all of its age-appropriate vaccinations. It has its rabies vaccination, has its city tags.
Their busiest group? Animal control officers. They respond to a variety of calls involving abandonment, cruelty, and even strays. Officers also organize monthly dog sweeps, file animal bite reports, and even hand out quarantine notices to prevent rabies outbreak.
We get approximately 1,800 to 2,000 calls a month. And we do our best to respond to those. We prioritize them, certainly, by public safety issues first.
If you're dealing with some wild critters, Animal Care Services also provides wild animal traps to residents free for 7 business days or until the animal is caught in the trap. There is a $75 fee if the trap is lost or stolen. The department also picks up privately and city-owned traps, mostly used for possums.
We do not euthanize the possums when they come in here. We work with state wildlife and they tell us what areas are best, so we live release. So any animal that will come in today at 6 o'clock tomorrow morning, we put them in the back, we feed them.
Animal Care Services always needs volunteers. They help with adoption events, cat and dog companions, kennel cleaning, grooming and bathing, and assisting in the clinic. Applicants must be 18 years old. Anyone 14 years old can apply with a parent or guardian supervision. All applicants are subject to a background check.
I would love to see, more of our community members come in to this shelter. It's a very nice shelter. Anybody who comes in here, it's very clean. Having said that, it takes a lot of work to do that.
To see these services at work, stop by Animal Care Services for a free guided tour of the facility, and staff will answer your questions. To schedule an ACS tour or for service information, call 361-826-4630.
Reporting for the City of Corpus Christi, I'm Eva Padilla.
This week's feature is the Corpus Christi Bay Trail. It's an excellent way for residents and visitors to stay in shape and take in the sights of the city. The 8-mile hike and bike trail begins at the barge dock on Shoreline Boulevard near the American Bank Center and ends at Texas A&M University, Corpus Christi on Ocean Drive. The trail, just one of Corpus Christi Parks and Recreation Department's projects aimed at connecting the community with the city's diverse natural habitat. Folks taking on the trek can admire and even capture the views of the Corpus Christi Bay, Cayo del Oso, and Oso Creek. But wait, there's more. Walkers and cyclists can also visit many of the city's parks, including the water's edge, and check out the public art pieces located along the waterfront. If you don't have a bike, don't worry. You can rent one for less than $5 an hour. Bike Corpus Christi has several convenient bike rental stations along the seawall, all within walking distance of parking locations. For more information on the Corpus Christi Bay Trail and other bike and hike locations, head over to the city's website, www.cctexas.com. Pay your utility bill or report a pothole right at your fingertips. Download the new City of Corpus Christi mobile app with easy access to report and track your city services. Open the app, select your request, tell us about it, and click Submit. It's that easy. Also, check out recent city job openings, connect with us on social media, and see the latest flight information. It's a free and fast way to connect with the city. Visit the App Store or Google Play to download today. For more information, visit cctexas.com/mobile app.
The mission of the Housing and Community Development Department is to strengthen neighborhoods in Corpus Christi. Housing and rehabilitation programs provide one-stop housing services for low-income households through several federally funded and locally funded housing programs. Housing programs assist both existing homeowners and interested home buyers. The City of Corpus Christi Housing and Community Development Department housing programs are designed to improve the quality of life for citizens of the city. This home is one example of the Demolition Reconstruction Program. The homeowner qualified for a 0% interest loan. An example of the loan structure could be as follows: principal loan amount of $35,000, a minimum deferred loan in the amount of $20,000, and a deferred forgivable loan in the amount of $34,174. A grant is typically provided for the demolition of the substandard home and for relocation expenses. The process begins when the homeowner visits our office located at 1201 Leopard Street on the second floor of City Hall. They are required to complete an intake form. They will then meet with a program specialist who will explain the criteria required to start the application process, such as income, credit history, and property ownership. Once a homeowner is qualified, they will be placed on a waiting list. When the homeowner's name is next on the waiting list, a rehab specialist is assigned and conducts a detailed assessment of the house to determine if the house needs to be reconstructed. Qualifications include owner-occupied dwelling, must meet the very low to moderate income guidelines, and property taxes must be current. Funding for this program is provided by the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development. For more information about the Housing and Community Development Department, visit our website, www.cctexas.com.
Part of our job description is it's not only about driving, it's about, safety and customer service.
Keeping our city clean is a tough job, but the men and women of the Solid Waste Department are up for the task. We are heading out into the field to learn more about what goes on around our city. The day for a refuge collector begins at 7:30 a.m. This particular morning, a staff member from the Risk Management Division dropped in for a brief training session.
All right, morning everyone.
Good morning, Mr. Don.
Hey, this morning we're going to talk safety. We're going to talk about heat stress. We haven't even hit mid-June. That's when it usually starts getting hot, but we're already in the 90s. And then when you add on top of that what it feels like, you put another 3 or 4 degrees on top of it.
After the meeting, the workers head out to their trucks and prep for the day. Today we'll be following 2 solid waste veterans, Albert Perez, who works in recycling, and Robert Garcia, who works in garbage on their different routes. Each prepares their vehicle for the day of work ahead.
We begin the day looking, as I say, we check our fuel fluids, look for the obvious, any kind of leaks coming from the arm, from the differentials. Make sure my rear camera is clean. This is a CNG truck. I always check the pressure, make sure we got enough fuel for the day.
Been here for 24 years, and our task is to go and pick up carts, recycle carts for the residents of Corpus Christi.
Albert's first stop is hitting his assigned locations for the day to collect recyclables, while Robert heads to the landfill to dump his load from yesterday. While on the way to the landfill, he runs into a major problem.
I think we're having problems here. Yeah.
Robert calls for Ricardo, the technician from the Solid Waste Department, to come fix the issue.
No, when I came out, it smelled like coolant. See, it wasn't like that this morning. See, now it's starting to lower.
Car should have busted the belt.
We busted a belt. You can tell by the smells what's leaking. So right off the bat, when I told you when I got off the truck, I told you it was a coolant leak.
While Robert waits for the work on his truck to be finished, Albert has already started his route. Each day, a new route is given to their cycle drivers.
Route 71, which is our boundary from Weber, Ocean Drive, and Roberts. You see these trucks are one of the new trucks. They're rail trucks. I like them because they're easier to handle the recycle carts. Of course, we have our camera up here. I can see everything that's happening, okay? Here, the joystick, you grab it, grab your can, bring it in, you go up, see how easy it is? You see it up there, where it unloads everything, okay? You bring it back down, boom, seat it back out, got it. You see how they're separated right here? That's the way that the cars should be, just like this one here, 3 to 5 feet. That's a lot easier for the grabber. I won't be dropping cans, you know.
See that? That works pretty good.
While most cans are good, occasionally refuse collectors must get out of their vehicle for varying reasons.
I guess you see our tags. You see? 3 feet away from garbage carts. Okay? So you tag it, you put it out the 3 feet.
Due to wear and tear, our refuse trucks and drivers are often delayed on their collection routes while the solid waste fleet mechanic works on the truck in the field. Once Robert's problem is fixed, he heads to the landfill to drop off and hit the road to take care of his route.
We work 5 days a week, so therefore the city's divided into 5 different sections. Those areas are divided up among maybe about 20 different routes, maybe 22, the very most. So we do have our map books. As you can see, the highlighted areas are our areas of responsibility for every different driver every day. Today we're on Route 76. As you can see, it's cracked. This is the problem that we have, is when they're cracked, they get caught onto the rubber strap, or sometimes they get caught onto the ends here and get caught onto the bolts. It makes it difficult to release. So what I'm gonna do is base it to where it won't catch the crack, and then all I can do is tag it and remind them that they can call for a replacement. So I hope it all falls in and don't fly away by balloon. Okay, now when we do for ADAs, we look at our list, and I have to write down the time that's collected, which is 10:32. Ooh, today they left us Hawaiian Punch. Anyway, typically that's where I go get it. Same with the recycle, they'll do the same thing. So.
Refuse collectors work tirelessly cleaning the city and educating the public to encourage proper procedures and recycling. The day is never truly done in a city of over 300,000 people producing waste. Rain or sunshine, you can guarantee the solid waste department is hard at work.
Somebody's got to clean the city, right?
The City of Corpus Christi Gas Department's Natural Advantage Home Rebate Program gives new and existing homeowners a chance at getting up to $750 in rebates. To qualify, applicants need a gas utility account with the city and a gas department inspection. Appliances must be installed and operational, and all rebate requests must be submitted within 6 months of installation. Be sure to keep your receipts for all gas line installations and appliance purchases. This program cannot be used with other programs like the Natural Gas Home Builder Rebate Program. For more information, call the Gas Department at 361-885-6910 or head over to the city's website, www.cctexas.com.
This week's feature is volunteering at Animal Care Services. The city offers volunteer opportunities with many departments, but none are as cuddly or cute as working with these canines, felines, and other interesting animals. Some areas to volunteer in are adoption events, cat and dog socialization, education, kennel cleaning, grooming and bathing, and assisting in the clinic. Volunteers must meet specific criteria to be accepted into the City of Corpus Christi Animal Care Services Volunteer Program. Download an application from the Animal Care Services webpage. Mail applications to Animal Care Services at 2626 Holly Road, Corpus Christi, Texas 78415. For other free or nearly free activities, visit cctexas.com.
Hi, my name is Jesus Solis, traffic investigator for Corpus Christi Police Department. About every 20 minutes in Texas, someone is hurt or killed in a crash involving alcohol. In March 2017, there were 50 crash-related DWIs and 4 fatalities in Corpus Christi. In Texas, a person is legally intoxicated at 0.08 breath alcohol concentration, or BAC. A person is also intoxicated if impaired due to alcohol or other drugs, regardless of BAC. Drivers under the influence could face up to $17,000 in fines, fees, jail time, and could lose their driver's license. Think twice before you drink and drive. Whether you're the driver or passenger, you could be fined up to $500 for having an open container in a vehicle. Remember, it's illegal to consume any amount of alcohol if you're under the age of 21. Don't drink and drive. Plan ahead for a sober ride. Here's how you can stay safe if you have too much to drink. Designate a driver, call a cab, or spend the night where you are. Stay sober and safe, Corpus Christi. Don't drink and drive.
Have you ever wanted to help the city find solutions to problems in our community but don't know how? Look no further. You can volunteer on one of the city's many boards, committees, and commissions that help grow Corpus Christi. Each commission is comprised of citizen volunteers who have a passion for helping our city continue to grow. The City Council can't handle every issue from beginning to end, so that's where the boards, committees, and commissions come in. They focus on specific issues and help to regulate and manage city programs with their advice and expertise. Applicants must be residents in Corpus Christi when they apply and throughout their term. Being a city volunteer takes a lot of time and commitment, but you'll be playing a pivotal role in shaping the future of Corpus Christi. To apply, check out our website, www.cctexas.com.
just need to be doing it out here like we've been doing it. Well, maybe when you did it, there was just 4. Yeah. I guess where I'm coming from, Everett, is at the end of every meeting, like today.
Get those items so that it's ready to publish.
All right, we'll reconvene the meeting.
Mayor, can you turn your microphone on, please?
Huh?
Thank you.
Okay, we've completed item number 27. And that really is the completion of our agenda, except for what we need to do. And there's, I think, a motion as a result of that executive session. Who's going to make that motion?
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to make a motion to authorize the city manager to execute an amendment to the city's professional services agreement for attorney services with McKibben, Martinez, Jarvis, and Wood LLP for representation of the city in the Salinas Construction Technologies Limited and Salinas & Sons, Inc. versus City of Corpus Christi to increase the maximum amount of said contract by $150,000.
There's a motion. Is there a second? There's a second to the motion. Any discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed. Since it's a legal deal, you need a roll call vote? Or just a voice vote? Good?
A voice vote will work. It was unanimous, so.
Okay.
We'll note that.
All right. Identify council future agenda items. Anybody have anything that want the manager to bring up or discuss or whatever? All right, seeing no. Okay.
This may not be something to put on a future agenda, but it is a question for the city manager. We have August 15th, we have the driverless vehicles, the UAV, and all that stuff the university in Del Mar is going to be working on. Do we have any plans as a joint group to attend or to host, because I know they're going to be doing it, they're going to be doing flybys off the Lexington past the American Bank Center. They're going to be utilizing a lot of public spaces, so I didn't know if we would just want to be in attendance, make showing, or make something formalize it. So that's all. That's all.
I think we've all been invited at different times, but I don't know if we're all scheduling to go at the same time. There's not, I mean, that's not something you got to post, is it?
No,
if we
I
happen
was
to
just wondering if we wanted, sorry. I was just wondering if we wanted to be more a part of it other than our individual times that we're showing up to.
Okay.
If we wanted to take place in it, because I know that certain departments in the city have been utilizing some of these, not necessarily just flying drones, but the drones that go through our water system to check out some of the stuff and the robots. But we've had a big part in the drone process, and we've supported it a lot. I didn't know if there's something specific other than the individual times that we're showing up that we should do together, and led by the mayor and the city manager. I don't know.
Right.
It's up to y'all. It was just a question or discussion.
Okay. We'll get you a correspondence with a more complete schedule.
Sure.
Yeah.
And it just maybe help highlighting it if we can't do anything.
Right.
Thank you.
Okay.
Mr. Garza?
Mayor, last week I had indicated with one of the items related to some growth across the Oso, the concern that stormwater may become an issue, and we've reached the capacity that we can actually absorb in the Oso Creek. Today we annexed 161 acres in the London area. And again, my thought all along, besides wastewater, was that stormwater was going to also have to be determined what rules we were going to follow in terms of developing the south side of the Oso. I think we need to have some sort of a workshop or some sort of discussion related to stormwater and the challenges we're going to have and how that's going to tax our current stormwater, the stormwater capacity in that area. So at some point, I'd like to see what we can do to get some sort of briefing from staff and what our options are, so we can, if we're going to need to adopt some rules south of the Oso, we need to talk about them.
Potential altering of the flood zones and maps as well.
Okay, Mr. Hernandez, you got what you needed, Mr. Manager, on that, just stormwater update or something?
Yeah, well, maybe as part of the budget workshop on utilities, we can begin that conversation. One thing we're going to be working on, and we'll give you more detail, is breaking out the stormwater payment. Right now it's in the water bill, but it doesn't really have anything to do with water, with the drinking water. So we're going to be recommending a separate breaking out of or separating of the two fees or two costs, so that there'll be a water fee and then a stormwater fee. Like most other Texas cities, they have a separate stormwater fee. Stormwater is a utility, so the concept is the bigger the property, especially impervious, the higher the fee for stormwater to manage the city's stormwater system. And so we'll bring that to the council. There'll be several months of working with the community to help develop that rate structure. And for the residential customer, in the end, it'll probably be the same amount they're paying today, but at least they'll see the two different components, one for water and then one for stormwater. And so by running those separately, we'll be able to account for the revenues for the stormwater operation, and then what are the service delivery costs for that operation.
Okay.
Mr. Hernandez?
To piggyback on what Councilman Garza had said, I know we've got the area development plans being finalized, and I guess what we'll need is the master plan on drainage or stormwater, all that set up pretty soon. Do you have so we understand the timeline of when that's going to happen? Because I mean, it's just not draining into Oso. There's detention ponds and that kind of stuff that needs to be addressed. Since the county doesn't have a drainage plan out there, as far as I know, that we'll need to get some ideas as to when that's going to happen. Secondly, I noticed recently that there was not the performance monitoring portion of our website. Code enforcement kind of fell off, and I don't know if they've corrected it yet or not. There are a lot of performance requirements on there. Maybe we can get a report from code enforcement as to where they're at. I know they were behind 60+ days in terms of responding to requests. If we can get an idea of where they're at now and get that report. Thank you.
Mr. Roy?
This item might already be scheduled. I just wondered where we're at with the feasibility study of the TERS 4 with Arlene, and is that bookmarked to come back anytime soon?
Mayor, we're looking to bring that forward at the end of this month.
Okay,
but we did need to. Yes, but we do need to. We're reworking that feasibility report that had quite a few deficiencies, some assumptions that were simply questionable, and so we're working through that report and hope to have that back to the council by the end of this month.
With that, do we have any idea in terms of when the urban engineering study will be complete?
Don't know. That's the other thing that's kind of
driving that.
There's a couple of things in the works. One is the survey work that they're doing for us to define the geographical area. The other is getting the feasibility locked in, and then the third piece of this puzzle is that drainage analysis being done by urban engineering. Urban engineering has two tasks on this: one to define the geographical area, and the other to define to work out the drainage.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, Mr. Nunn. Oh, okay. Anything else? Anything else? If nothing else, the next meeting is October the I mean, August. What is it? August what?
Where are we going on vacation?
August 13th.
August 13th?
Yes, sir.
All right. Well, meeting stands adjourned till August the 13th.